up, guys? Bonus episode today, Thursday, January 23rd. Thanks for tuning in. My voice is getting better. It's been a couple days since Monday, but I can talk finally. So that's on the trail back. 10 bottles of NyQuil. Lots of sleep. I'm still doing shows. I just go do shows, and then I come straight home, go right back to bed. Classic, man. You know how hard that is not to go to a show and just hang out all night and talk. But yeah, I'm feeling better. Thank God, because I got to go to the NAMM show tomorrow and interview rockers. Got to interview some rockers out at the NAMM show tomorrow. NAMM show, if you don't know what that is, you'll find out on an episode coming up. NAMM show. It's basically like a car show, but with all music equipment, which is cool. It's just full-blown fucking geek nerd fest. Like, ooh, look at that. Les Paul, Seymour Duncan pickups, Kluson tuners. Oh, man. Silver Sparkle Gretsch drum kit, just like the one the Beatles used. It's all dudes. All dudes, and then like cougars on the outskirts looking to move in on some of their old school rock dudes they've always wanted. Because there's like old school rock guys there that are doing like endorsements and stuff. I'll get into it later, but anyway, starting to feel better. Hope you like that episode Monday with DJ Will. That was pretty cool, right? A&R guy. Let you into that world. DJ Will, good guy. He's going to be out there at the NAMM show. Today, I got a comedian on. A lot of people go, hey, man, you're a comic. You don't have that many comedians. You don't talk about your comedy that much. Believe me, I can fucking talk comedy for 24 hours straight, and I wouldn't stop. I just, there's a lot of podcasts out there with comedians on it. So for me to have one on, it's got to be someone I really, really like. And that's this guy, Rick Ingram, today is my guest. Rick Ingram, if you don't know who he is, he's one of the funniest guys I've ever seen at the Comedy Store. He absolutely destroys. He's a master at crowd work, which is super hard to do. If you've watched Louis C.K.'s show, Louis, on FX, he actually has one episode which I thought was amazing. He tipped his hat to crowd workers. It was an episode where he had to like watch his niece or something, so he had shows, so he had to take her to the shows, and he takes her to Caroline's, or no, he takes her to the Cellar. And Godfrey's up, and he's killing with crowd work. And the niece goes to Louis, I like him, he's funny. And Louis's like, oh, man, he's just doing crowd work. You know, he's like pissed, like, that's nothing. And she's like, I don't care, he's funny, I love him. And then in the next scene, you see Louis on stage trying to do crowd work, and he's just eating it. He's like, hey, that's a nice shirt. Nice shirt you wore. Is that your shirt? And people are like, what the fuck? And the way I interpreted it, that is obviously he was tipping his hat to crowd work, which was cool. And that's what Rick Ingram does. You'll figure out how he got into that style. You'll find out how he got into that style in this episode. And how people don't like to go on after him. It's fucking hard. I talk about it. It's the hardest guy to go on after. You got a guy that does amazing crowd work, and now you got to step on and do shit you've planned. It just looks fake right out of the box. And you got to figure out how to make your stuff not look fake. So I like going on after Rick. It's really hard, and I learned so much from watching Rick. Great guy. He talks about moving out to L.A. in his minivan, getting his heart broken. And he talks about having diabetes. And 2 years ago, he found out he has full-blown diabetes, which is amazing. I wanted to talk about that because it's funny. Like, I know all kinds of shit about music. I know all kinds of stuff about motorcycles, comedy, whatever. but I don't know shit about health, which is amazing, right? Even in high school, like you take health class, they didn't tell you, like, here's the deal. You eat this shit, you die. They were just like soft touching sex. Like, this is how you're in the vagina, stuff like that. It's like, teach people, man. I found out some good stuff on this episode about how you get diabetes. I had no idea. So Rick Ingram today. Awesome guest. Love you, Rick. Find him on Twitter and see him at the Comedy Store. Guy's amazing. Speaking of Louie, my birthday's coming up, and I was just thinking about how tired I am at night, you know? Like, every time I'm tired, like, oh, God, I got to go out and do a show, I think about Louis C.K., and I wanted to just thank him because this guy's fucking like 45. He has 2 kids, a TV show, a stand-up career, and, you know, probably a girlfriend, I don't know, but that's like 3 full-time jobs, and this guy gets up and just goes out and does it. I can't even have a dog. He's got 2 kids, a TV show, and a stand-up comedy career, so thanks, man, because you inspire me to get the fuck out of bed. So thank you, Louis C.K. And, you know, like I said, this is a comedy episode, so I just give some shout-outs to people I love. Norm Macdonald. I still think Norm Macdonald's special, Norm Macdonald doing stand-up, I think it came out 2 years ago, is by far one of the funniest things I've seen in years. Either you get Norm or you don't, I guess. I guess that seems to be the thought on Norm. I get him and I'll take him nonstop. God, that guy is funny. If you haven't seen it and you're a comedian coming up, watch it. Norm Macdonald doing stand-up. He taped it live at the Fillmore, San Francisco. Just amazing, this guy's style, Norm. He stands there. He doesn't move. He doesn't touch the mic. He doesn't look left. He doesn't look right. I've never seen anything like it. He just comes out. He's like, yeah. And he starts going. It's just unbelievable. Shit's so smart. Love you, Norm. Bill Burr, Marin, all these guys, man. Thanks for the inspiration. Let's see. Couple more things. Been listening to Neil Young's On the Beach. People asking what I'm listening to this week. I'm back on my Neil Young phase. Just nonstop Neil. Can't get enough of Neil Young. If you haven't got the record On the Beach, get this record. So good, man. Neil Young, I think Neil Young has wrote like 10 of the best songs there is. It's crazy, like when you think about it. Cinnamon Girl, how great is that song? Southern Man, Needle and the Damage. What else I love? Oh, God, I love Cowgirls in the Sand. How great. Hello, cowgirls in the sand. My voice is still fried. You cannot do Neil Young when your voice is fried. Hello, cowgirls in the sand. Hello, cowgirls in the sand. Terrible, right? Listen to that shit voice. It's better than Monday, though, right? Neil Young. People ask me what Neil Young record to get On the Beach, and then after you got that, of course, get Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere, and then get the live record. I love that. Rust Never Sleeps live. Some Neil Young thoughts right there. Love you, Neil Young. You're incredible. I think that's about it this week. Bonus episode today. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll be at... Where am I going to be? Oh, Saturday with Pauly Shore. Bay Area. Come out. Oakland. I'll be at Yoshi's Saturday night, January 25th. Come out. See us. We're going to party. Yeah, buddy. Episode's brought to you by Los Angeles Harley Davidson. This is LA Harley. That's how cool is that? LA Harley. Get a shirt. Call them up, say, I want a shirt. When I was young, I saw AC/DC on the Back in Black tour, and Brian Johnson wore a different shirt every city from that city's Harley dealer. And I thought, oh, man, when I go on a comedy tour, I'm going to do that. I was thinking that last year. And then I haven't gone on a comedy tour. But it was cool. He would just have a shirt from each city. I don't think there's a better shirt to have than LA Harley, right? That's pretty much the mecca of Harley Davidson. You got the sun, you got the beach, you got motorcycles. Los Angeles Harley right there. Get a shirt. Go see him. If you're visiting Disneyland, dads, you dads out there, drop your kids off and sneak over to LA Harley. It's right down the street from there. They're at 2635 West Orangethorpe Avenue, Fullerton, California. Go in there, see my boy Roger. Get yourself a Daymaker headlight. I just got one. These Harley headlights were just shit for years, and now they got a new headlight called the Daymaker. Man, I light up my whole fucking neighborhood. Works, Daymaker headlight. See him, Los Angeles Harley Davidson. Go on down, get a bike, get a shirt, whatever. Say hi to him. See Roger or Chris in there. Check them out online. Los Angeles Harley Davidson of Anaheim.com. They're your Harley dealer. Go see them. All right, let's get into it. The song you're hearing today on the intro is one of mine. I wrote. Somebody asked me what the song was Monday. Also, I wrote that. All these songs lately will be songs from my old bands. Dean Delray or Ghost Town. Check them out. This is one of them. See you, Delraisers, and have a great weekend. And talk to you next Monday. See you in Oakland. If you're out there, come see me and Polly. Later. Hey, what's happening, guys? Brand new episode here on Let There Be Talk. Got a great guest. Got a comedian today. I don't do that many comedians, but when I do, it's someone I like. That'd be funny if I had someone on I didn't like, right? It's somebody I don't like.
You brought someone on and then just ruined them for your audience.
That's like a trap, right?
I think that's a good plan, actually.
Yeah. My guest, Rick Ingram. How are you, buddy?
I'm all right, man. How's it going?
Good, man. Good. You made it up here. I haven't showered all day. I got no fucking water today. Pipe broke up the street.
That's the only way I'd do it.
Yeah.
If I showed up and, you were perfectly conditioned, and I would be like, what is going on?
Just fucking turn around and leave, right? You would just go, this guy's fake rock.
That's exactly what I think. What is this, modern rock?
Yeah, it would always be Winger.
What, are you angry at your dad?
Right,
Forget it.
It'd be Winger all clean and stuff.
Nelson.
Headed for a hard break.
Yes. See, but if you were bellowing out the fucking demonic wails of 80s rock voice, I would have stayed.
Yeah.
You could have actually just been Nelson, and I would have stayed.
Nelson. That's hilarious because I had Bobby Brown on. You know her? She was the girl that was in the Cherry Pie videos.
Oh, hell yeah.
And Mary Jane Elaine. But her first man was one of the Nelsons. And she said the other one would always walk around naked like, you want to suck this?
Oh, God. You mean the cool Nelson would walk around.
Yeah,
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine your brother just walking around trying to fuck your wife?
Yeah, and just the arrogance too of like, listen, you're one of Nelson.
Yeah,
you don't need to be walking around naked like you're fucking Robert Plant or something.
That's fucking weird, right?
That's very weird. It's my wife. He's my brother. It's okay. Blood before all else.
Well, also it's always that weird twins thing, right? Where they were grown adults with money and they're living together. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's pretty strange too.
That's just weird, right? Like I could be without you.
Pre-reality television.
Yeah, God, that'd been.
I mean, that would have been set up for, you're like, oh, it's for TV.
Yeah.
There's at least 8 minutes every episode of them just blow and dry the beautiful manes.
Yeah, just like.
Maybe just a series of them and a bunch of ladies showing that their hair takes just as long to get ready every day.
Well, I was always surprised that that they got. Obviously they're gonna get girls because they're 80s rock stars, but man, they was just they just looked
feminine.
like Christian rock, right?
Yeah, I don't even know if there might have been hardcore hardcore-looking dudes in the Christian rock scene. I was trying to come up with a Christian rock band there, and I'm like, I got
actually,
nothing.
actually, that striper probably looked a little more mean than them.
Yeah, it wasn't a good scene.
We just opened the podcast with 10 minutes of Nelson talk.
Straight Nelson hate.
Because you walk in, you see Mitch, you see the Mitch CD,
Yep.
Mitch Hedberg, and you go, man, of all the bag of pills I gave to comedians, I'm bummed that I took that one back.
Well, they were his pills allegedly.
Uh-huh.
I just returned them to him.
You found him on the ground or something?
No, I was doing shows in Miami with Andrew Dice Clay, and when you do the Miami Improv, it's in Coconut Grove.
Yeah.
And they own
Cocaine Grove.
That's right. And they own the a couple of hotel rooms at the Four Seasons there, or whatever it is, and that's where they have the comic stay. It's right across the street.
That's fucking
from
nice,
the Improv.
right?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Four Seasons.
The real high, it's like top level.
Yeah.
Like I was there loving it because I had been on the road with Pauly Shore and like the worst cities on earth. Like,
I'm getting ready to go out with him next week. That's hilarious.
Oh yeah, I was in Brownsville, Texas, Dayton, Ohio, Wichita, Kansas on the Weasel tour. Just like what am I doing?
What year are we talking?
This is like 2004, probably.
So you find some pills on the ground, and then you run into Mitch, and he's like, "Anybody seen my pills?"
Well, I was at the Improv that night, and I did the show at Dice, and afterwards the owner of the club came up, or the manager, I guess. I don't think it was the owner, but he comes up and he's like, "Yeah, O.J. Simpson is here with his girlfriend. He wants to meet you." And Dice is like, "I'm not meeting O.J."
This is after the murder,
Yeah.
man.
Oh yeah. This is this
Who wants to hang with him?
And he apparently has come to the Improv before, and he went to the Paul Mooney show.
Right.
And Mooney just shredded him apart, and he got all mad and like wanted to fight him. So
Yeah, because he was living in Florida protecting his
Right.
retirement. That was the only state
can't
where
take
you
away
can't
your
take the
home.
retirement.
Yeah.
There's a genius clip, if you YouTube it, of Stuttering John, Howard Stern,
Right.
finds out that where OJ plays golf. And he has Stuttering John go out there in kind of a hat and shades, like playing golf next to him, like he accidentally runs into him. And then he's talking to him like, "Hey, you're OJ, I love you." And then he finally hits him with I got a question for you. How do you get blood out of clothes? He fucking went ballistic,
Lost it.
man. Yeah, man.
yeah, he was the manager came back and he was so happy. Well, one, we didn't know he was there, but he was so happy that he was so worried, I guess, that Dice was gonna fucking go into him.
Right.
But Dice's thing is, I mean, rarely is he gonna go off track because he's got his thing down, and so we
Which
didn't.
is weird because when I first saw Dice when I was growing up at the store, really the thing was they brought him into the main room on Monday nights,
Right.
and his gig was just to rifle people till they left. But he probably had a lot of the. I mean, of course, he had a lot of the same stuff,
Right.
But he did obtain quite a bit of crowd work.
yeah.
That's what it was.
And I've seen him do it before, and he just crushes. But I think now it's like he's headlining shows, and he just doesn't want to.
Yeah.
It's making money to him.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to have to sit there and worry about show getting out of control or whatever it is. He just wants to do his
that's
hour.
right. Yeah.
And
Because you get those Dice guys like, "Yo, sucking my dick."
Nonstop.
Like they just like fucking crazy.
People yell "Hickory Dickory Dock" like randomly throughout the show.
This is what, 02?
This is like 04, I think.
So you're out on the road with Dice.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna get to the Mitch story,
Yeah.
but from Dice when he's huge, then he kind of goes away, but he's on the road the whole time over those years, right?
Yeah. He still toured and I think lived in somewhat. I wouldn't say denial because like when you hang out with him, he's very in the moment. He's very aware.
And people love him still.
Complete opposite of his character.
Yeah.
But his fans still love him, no matter what.
Hell yeah.
And he's smart enough to know that, with the exception of like, occasionally some casino in Oklahoma or someone will pay him a bunch of money to come.
Yeah.
Other than that, he goes to where he knows there's going to be a Dice fan base.
Yep.
He does Miami, Florida, New York, Jersey,
Right.
Vegas,
Yeah.
Reno.
All exactly. Yeah.
And crowds love him.
He's on a fucking rocket again.
Yeah.
Ride number 2.
Did the Woody Allen thing. Got great reviews for it.
He was on Entourage.
Yeah.
I love that whole story. He's at the Coffee Bean. Some guy sees him and goes, "Oh, I'm a big fan. We got to get you on Entourage." He's like, "Yeah, right." And then he gets the call.
Cut the call, and they're like, "No, we're doing it."
Fucking great, right?
Yeah.
And a great storyline, too, where they're doing the cartoon.
Yeah, and he's got... I love the scenes, too. His son Max, and like people are all playing cards and everyone.
Yeah. So anyway, you're down there in Miami with Dice.
So we're in Miami, and Dice is refusing to meet OJ. And the best part of it all is that knowing Dice, and he just got off stage doing like an hour and 20 minutes of just filthy Dice, chauvinistic material.
Yeah.
And then he refuses to meet OJ under the pretext that OJ is a woman hater. And the owner's like, "What? What do you mean?" Yeah. He's like, "No, that guy hates women." He was like,
next level. I think what he meant was, "I hate women, but he murders women."
Well, that's what Joel was the guy's name, the manager, and he's like, "What do you did you just hear what you said on stage?" And Dice is like, "Before this guy even killed people, he was hitting women." And he like just had this thing about like too disrespectful. Like, it's okay to just say things jokingly, but hitting someone is a different story. And I guess I agree with that. But it was still to me just so funny the thought of it, because like we watched any female in the crowd at a Dice show and they're just horrified.
Oh yeah,
they're just like, "What? Why am I here?"
Yeah, I mean, I never really understood the animal of somebody that hits a woman. To me, it's really fucking bizarre.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, I don't even know how you got some issues, man.
Hell yeah. You get to that point?
You get to that point, man. What the fuck are you doing, man? Just take yourself out or something, man. I've seen guys like that over my lifetime.
Oh, yeah.
And then you see women that stay with them, which is weird, right?
Yeah, and that's a whole nother mystery.
How do they find each other? You're in a bar, say, "Hey, you cool if I just slap you around once a month?" I guess.
And in her mind, from whatever abuse she suffered in her childhood, she's thinking that's a sign of passion, and passion is love.
Yeah.
He must care if he's willing to hit me.
Crazy
Jesus.
shit, man. Twisted shit.
Yeah. Well, that's just parenting 101 right there.
Yeah, right.
That's someone's dad who was into hitting, and now she's like, "Well, I want someone to love me the way my father loved my mother."
You don't love me at all.
How come you never hit me?
You've done nothing but good shit for me, man. You suck.
But especially in the comedy world, as I'm sure with most of the rockers you talk about, there's a world of destroyed mentally.
Yeah.
Like women who are just mentally destroyed and will take the abuse because it's anything.
Yeah, I think, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the woman thinks she's going to fix the guy.
That's what she thinks.
Yeah, and then what do they call it, fixers or something?
And they all think, it's classic pain is better than nothing. I'd rather feel something than nothing.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Yeah, people like feeling interesting.
Yeah. So you're out there.
So we're in Miami.
He doesn't want to meet OJ.
He won't meet OJ, and then he's like, "What about you?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, I'll meet OJ."
Yeah.
I'm all about it. I'm 23 years old at the time. I'm just like, this is awesome. I was in college.
I love how he goes, "What about you?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like someone's got to meet him. I don't want OJ to be mad at me. He's going down the list of comedians.
Yeah.
It was me and Brett Ernst's brother, Keith, was the opening act.
Right.
He lived there at the time. So Keith and I go out, meet OJ. Keith leaves. And then OJ he's wasted. And he keeps yelling about how, "I'm going to buy you a drink." He starts repeating my jokes that I told back to me. And I'm just like, OJ was listening to my set.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's got like a 25, 26-year-old blonde girl with him, dumb as bricks, and he keeps yelling at her. Somewhere in OJ's storage locker of his stuff, there's one of those disposable cameras, Kodak cameras, where there's like 15 pictures that OJ made this girl take of me and him together. Like OJ is hounding me for, "Oh, I want my picture taken with you." I'm just like, "Oh, OJ, you annoying fan."
Never got him developed.
There's no way he got him developed, because the next day he had to be like, "Who the fuck was that guy?"
How great would that be if he actually did? Like,
he's got him pinned up
like
in
when they go in his house after that last thing when he robbed the fucking
the sports memorabilia guy.
Like, "Who's this guy?" "I don't know. Let's look into him." They think you're his fucking partner.
He's probably. They got to be involved. He's got the picture hanging up on his refrigerator.
Gotta be tight. That's so fucking funny.
And he was acting so much like a fan. He's asking me, "Who else you do comedy with?" I told him I was on the road with Paulie. he starts telling me the story about, Paulie swam in my pool when he was a little kid.
Oh.
He's got this big story about Paulie Shore swimming in his pool, and I'm like, that makes sense. Why not? He's probably hanging out. Someone had to babysit him. So then I come to ask Paulie about it a couple weeks later. I'm like, yeah, I saw OJ. He said you swam in his pool. He's like, I never met OJ. Like, OJ's lying about Paulie Shore stories?
Yeah. Like, if
out of control.
Don't fit. You must have quit.
Oh, man. Not a bright guy.
That's fucking hilarious.
So I'm sitting there at the bar then, and I keep telling him, you can't buy me drinks. I get free drinks. I'm a comic.
Isn't that weird when you tell people that? It's like, I wish, like I could just say, hey, how about you just give me the money?
Just throw me $5.
I could use the money.
Yeah.
I'm out here featuring. Featuring don't pay shit.
I'm not making a living anyway.
These 4 Heinekens are going to be about $100. Just hit me with $100. How great would that be, right?
Oh, man. People, I guess. I don't know what to do.
Wouldn't that be weird? Because they'd look at you like, nah, man. Sometimes when people offer me weed, I sell it later.
Well, that's just good economics.
Yeah, they're just like, hey, you want weed? I go, absolutely. I don't smoke it. I just sell it.
If someone's gonna give you a wanted product, by all means.
Absolutely.
That was when I was in Alaska. Not to get off track again, but I was in Alaska doing shows, and people just kept giving me
weed,
Oxycontins.
Oxycontin.
That was the thing up there.
Wow.
They were like, here's some oxys, and I'm like, I don't do this. Like, I don't like pain pills at all.
Yeah,
so
me either.
I'm just like, okay, thanks. And someone's, oh man, I wish we'd get some oxys. I'm like, I got some.
Yeah.
Really? How much? Oh, throw me $30. They're yours.
That's fucking great.
Just handing them off right there. Well,
those
extra $30.
Are like, comedy show tips.
Yeah, it is. And everyone then, oh man, I gave him some pills, man. He was loving me.
Yeah. Oh man, I partied. I love that too. Hey dude, we partied hard. It's like, yeah, yeah, we did.
You gave me a bunch of your drug of preference, and I left with it.
I sold them
Way
and
to go.
bought some gummy bears.
The real drug.
So you're taking pictures, and
right,
how do you meet Mitch?
So then Mitch Hedberg walks up, and I'm sitting with OJ, and he walks up, and I'm just like, I have one of those moments where you're like, is that Mitch Hedberg? It looks like Mitch Hedberg. And he's pretty big at the time. Like, this is his Comedy Central's running all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
and you're at a comedy club, like, you don't expect to see a big headliner come in. Yeah,
like, what is he doing there?
Yeah.
He walks out of the same place the other crowd people are walking out of.
Yeah.
And so it's just one of those strange moments. And at the time, he was so influential. I would say 1 in 7 comics was just a Mitch Hedberg ripoff.
Right.
It was just like a stoner one-liner. Like, that's what everyone was doing. He was the it thing.
Yeah.
And
I still see it now, isn't it?
Oh,
funny?
yeah. It still resonates.
But I know what you're talking about. There's always a guy like that. You know, it comes down, and then all of a sudden there's 90 of them every open mic, and then there's,
there's like 20 terrible Bill Burrs right now.
Yeah.
Which is like, for as much as I love Bill Burr.
He's my favorite.
Oh, he's so good.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I see why you're influenced, but you don't have his brain. Quit trying to be Bill Burr. The stuff he talks about is hilarious.
It's fucking great.
And a lot of it's really... it's stuff that makes you think, which is awesome. Like, exactly. I love 30% of George Carlin.
Yep.
But 70% of it isn't that funny. Right. It just makes me think.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Like, to me, I'm like, oh, that's awesome. That's a great point. But I'm not laughing at it.
Yeah.
Bill makes me laugh. The stuff he talks about, I'm like, that's an awesome point, and it's hilarious.
Well, what I like about him is he'll just go up and he'll start the set with the most radical whole. He'll just
bury himself.
He'll go like, I'm glad Hurricane Andrew, not Hurricane Andrew, but whatever the last one was. What was it?
The Hurricane Sandy.
Yeah. There was a time where he was coming on and he would just say, I'm glad Hurricane Sandy happened. And people would go, ooh,
what?
Whoa.
Oh my God.
But by the time he's done the whole bit, you're going, yeah, maybe he's right. You know what I mean? It really gets you on board on his side.
Yeah, it's thought out. Years beyond what most comedians will ever be able to do.
Genius.
But you see him trying.
Yep.
Sebastian's another one where there's just a lot of Sebastian clones.
Yeah.
Especially like people who watch him often.
Yep.
He always does well. And it's like, this formula works for him because it's such a defined character.
Yeah.
But you try and do that. Like, I go up and I'm like, how much do people stink at Ross? People are just going to be like, what a dick.
Yeah, right.
Well, the way he does it, you're like, God, that is good.
He's so great.
So good. Oh, and the character is just solid. You feel everything he does, even if you don't actually think that.
Yeah, there's just these guys right now, especially at the Comedy Store. It's been really packed in the last 3, 4, 5 months.
Yeah.
And I was talking to somebody last night. I tweet a picture of every lineup I'm on, not to say, hey, look at me. I'm doing it so people go, look at these lineups.
God, yeah.
That's what I want because, of course, I'm the fucking new guy in there, but I want the people to see, like, are you kidding me? Bill Burr, Mark Maron, fucking Caparulo,
Sarah Silverman every night.
Sarah Silverman.
Yeah.
CK, whatever. You're going, what the fuck is going on there?
And it is crazy because it's like you'll do great shows at the Improv sometimes, but it's, it'll be me and like 5 guys that are, at my level.
Yeah.
Where you're like, that's a great show, but people aren't walking away like, I can't believe we saw all those people.
But boy, are they saying that now at the store. You'll see people come out of there. Like, I love when they don't know what's happening, like last Monday, and you look over at Jeff Scott, not me, but somebody go, who we got next? Oh, we got a special guest.
Yeah.
Louis, he'll kind of throw it under his voice, like, and then the comic will go, oh, fuck, God, damn. You guys are in for one right now, Mr. Louis C.K.
Yeah,
and people go, I mean, their heads pop off, like,
Yeah, I remember watching Chappelle when he came back from Africa.
Yeah,
and he went from the airport to the Improv, and he did like 10 minutes because that's what they let you do when you pop in at the Improv.
Yeah,
and then he came straight to the Comedy Store. Yeah, and just crushed for like an hour and 10 minutes.
I saw him in the main room. Al Madrigal opened.
Oh, yeah.
It was like 2 weeks after Africa. He decides to do 2 shows in there. And I see him, and he just destroyed.
Yeah.
It was crazy how good the material was, right?
Yeah.
That whole thing about talking about how, I opened USA Today. They say, Dave's on crack. Really?
It's like, damn.
Because I'm over here in Africa, and I haven't seen any crack.
It's one of the tougher places to get any sort of cocaine product.
Yeah, right?
Surprisingly.
From what I hear.
From the little I know about the cocaine trade in the Dark Continent.
So I've been fucking you up here. So, okay. So Mitch
All right, so Mitch walks up.
People are like, hey, man, let him
get to the fucking Mitch story.
You fucking asshole.
So he walks up and just says, like, hey, I was in town last weekend doing shows, and I'd never seen Andrew Dice Clay before, so I figured to just stick around and watch one of his shows, but you were great. And I'm like, oh, thanks.
God, that's cool.
And he introduces me to his mom and his sister, and he was like, yeah, we actually saw you earlier today standing in front of Hooters. There's a Hooters, like, right by the hotel.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I was down there. Like, why did you recognize me? And he was like, because we were eating at a restaurant, and I was like, hey, doesn't that guy standing by himself in front of Hooters look really sad? And I started laughing. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's funny. And he was like, and then you walked on stage, and my mom was like, isn't that the sad guy from Hooters?
Oh, my God.
I was like, oh, wow, yeah.
You should get a shirt made of that. Rick Ingram, the sad guy from in front of Hooters.
The sad guy in front of Hooters.
God damn, that's funny.
Just looking around like, I wish I had friends.
Mitch Hedberg on there, right?
Best quote I ever had about my comedy.
God, that's so cool.
Yeah, so, and then I was like, oh, right on. And he was like, you staying over there at the Four Seasons? I'm like, yeah. And then he starts kind of talking to me, puts his arm around me, and he's talking, how do you know OJ? I'm like, oh, I just met him. I'm like, OJ, this is a comic. His name's Mitch. Oh, nice to meet you. OJ's talking to his lady. I'm talking to Mitch. Then he kind of drops on me like, you didn't find anything. And I'm like, actually, there was a bag of some like pills or vitamins.
You didn't find anything in the dressing room?
It was in the dresser drawer next to the bed in the hotel room.
Oh, because you happen to be in his room.
Because the Improv just owns 3 rooms.
So you're in the same
So
one.
I'm in the Improv room, yeah.
You didn't find anything.
And Dice wouldn't stay there because he said the Four Seasons isn't 5-star. He said it's only 4 stars.
Hey, man, I was out with the Stones. That's all they stay at.
I was dying. I'm like, all right. No, how can it be 5 stars if it's only 4 seasons? That's what he kept saying. The guy's like, we're definitely 5-star.
Dude, that's so hilarious, man.
So I had the Dice suite. And I just, hey, I got it. And then he came and grabbed it the next, 10 o'clock the next morning or something. I just gave it to him. And then it was 3 months later, he was dead.
That's wild, right?
Oh, I hope they were vitamins. That's what I always tell myself.
Yeah.
He just left his vitamins in the room.
That's wild to think in your mind that he was like, man, I'll go back there. I'll figure out who's on stage and maybe.
And that's what I'm thinking. That I'm like,
wild,
that's
right?
why he thought I was a good comic, because he was buttering me up to get the pills back. Damn it, I'll still take it.
So let's get a little bit into if people haven't seen you. You're an amazing comedian. You're known for crowd work. You do crowd work. I gotta say, I go on before and after guys and everything. It's the hardest to go on after you, and I like to do it because it's a fucking motherfucker. It's a challenge. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Because you get this room into a frenzy of laughter, and you're bringing the whole room together, and it's incredible to see. But how did that start? Did you start as a crowd guy?
No.
First of all, when did you start? Where and what was your style?
I started when I was 19 years old.
And how old are you now?
I'm 32 now.
32 guy.
The first time I ever went on stage, I was 17.
Right.
And
where at?
I was at National Leadership Camp. I was sent there by my high school because I was such a leader. It was like me and 60 or 70 kids from all over the United States.
Now, where'd you go to school?
Went to high school in Kansas. Kansas
so
City.
You're from Kansas.
Yeah, I'm from the
like
suburbs of Kansas City.
Watkins.
Yeah, he went to the one of my rival high schools.
No shit, huh?
Yeah, for some reason Hollywood has sprung up from the region of Kansas City I grew up in. Paul Rudd went to my Shawnee Mission West. Rob Riggle went to Shawnee Mission South. God, there's a bunch of them. Jason Sudeikis went to Shawnee Mission West.
Right.
So anyway, I grew up there. They sent me to leadership camp, and I ditched because that shit was so lame.
You just ditched the camp?
We were in Lake Tahoe, and we weren't allowed to go outside.
Did you fly from Kansas to Lake Tahoe?
They flew us to Lake Tahoe and then put us in a dorm. I'm like 70 kids that they think are like leaders, that are going to be future leaders of America.
These are future leaders of
future
America.
senators.
Rick Ingram, man.
And I got on the list. So
you got a high IQ?
It's pretty high, I guess. I mean, I haven't had my IQ tested since I was
you can tell
kid,
who the smart comedians are. You know what I mean? Because you do.
I think I just remember a lot of things.
Yeah, you do remember a lot of things, but you do have knowledge. I have knowledge from traveling. Like if somebody says I've been here, I go, oh, I've been there too. I love this part about it.
Right.
If you know a little bit about places, you can really light people up, right? They go like, whoa, this guy knows.
Amazed, yeah.
Yeah. Like for instance, I was doing a show in Fresno, which is not like traveling.
Name drop.
But yeah. But I had seen Van Halen there in 81 or something.
Hell yeah. Okay.
So I said, man, I know where you can get all the good meth. You just got to go down there behind the Selling Arena. You know that's where Van Halen played. And the crowd goes crazy.
Loving it.
That's a stupid small example, but
no, definitely.
You have all this shit ammunition in your
in the
chamber.
arsenal.
But we'll get to that because I don't want to give it away. But anyway, so you're in Tahoe.
Yeah, so day one, I mean, it was the worst shit ever. They had us like watching videos on what's your color? What kind of personality color do you have? It's important.
A Scientology camp?
Dude, it might have been. And looking back, who knows? It was so insane.
That's twisted.
So I skip out, and at night they had some sort of insane religious gathering, like singing Christian songs, and I'm just not down with that. I'm born and raised. No.
Okay.
Born and raised in the Jesus territories, and I'm completely atheist.
Yeah.
I'm not like, I used to be like angry, like, oh, fuck Jesus.
Yeah,
and
fuck Jesus.
Now I'm just like, whatever. Just don't bother me with it. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, don't knock on my door at 4 in the afternoon, man.
I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to be converted. Yeah. I'm okay. If you think I'm going to hell, I'm okay with that.
Now, if you get cancer, do you find Jesus?
You know what? I think if I get cancer, that's just proof karma exists.
Yeah.
For all the things that I've done, probably.
So you're said, I'm out of this camp.
Yeah, fuck this place. I skip out on the Christian sing-along thing.
Yeah.
And I go down, skip out, like sneak out of the fucking dorm building, go down, hanging out by the lake, just like, this is kind of cool. And then I slowly out of the woodworks come like 5, 6 other kids all sneaking out, just like, fuck this.
Yeah.
So I ditched out with a couple of them. We were all like, let's get up tomorrow morning. We'll just hike out. We had enough money. We were going to get a hotel, and we'd crash like 7 people in the hotel.
What? You guys are like...
That was our plan.
The Great Escape?
Yeah.
We're fucking out of here.
We're like, we're going to... Our goal was we're going to make it to the California border. We're on the...
you guys are running away?
Yeah, running away from leadership camp.
How old are you guys?
17, 18.
What are you going to do? You're just running away?
We just don't want to have to sit indoors in
That's
Lake Tahoe
insane.
for 5 days. So we skip out, and after we took a taxi to the California border, and then we rented a campsite, rented a hotel room.
Wow.
Essentially just hung out.
Yeah.
A couple of the kids smoked pots. They were all blazing. I didn't do anything. I was straight edge back then, so
Yep.
I was just happy hanging out. And we went back to the camp, and our punishment was, they called the schools and reported us and all that shit. And then we had to perform in their talent show.
Yeah.
So I signed up. I'm like, okay, I'm doing stand-up comedy. And I did about 8 minutes just talking about how shitty the camp was.
And who were your guys that you liked when you were you watching stand-up at the time?
Yeah, I was
on
really
TV?
into it.
What were you watching, Saturday Night Live? or-
Loving it. So
Yeah.
SNL,
Yeah.
until I was about 25, that was my dream, always.
Yeah, me too.
Like my parents raised me not religious, but I could always stay up Saturday night, watch Saturday Night Live on Saturdays.
It was so edgy when you're young, right?
So it seemed so crazy.
Yeah.
And
Who were the guys on when you were watching it?
my favorite all time is Phil Hartman.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like one of my favorite comedic humorists ever.
Right.
Love him. But it was like that Phil Hartman right towards the end of the Kevin Nealon, Dana Carvey, John Lovitz era,
Oh,
right
yeah.
at the beginning of the Sandler, Farley, Spade,
Did you ever see that
Chris
Lovitz
Rock.
sketch where he's on the? I always bring it up to Lovitz. He doesn't remember. They're on a singles cruise ship and they find out it's for senior citizens. So him and I forget who the other guy is, but he's like, oh yeah. Here comes a silver-haired fox
Oh,
now.
yeah.
And then she walks by and he's all, hey, baby. And she hits him with a person. He's all, granny, no likey. God damn, that guy
Hello
was funny.
and goodbye.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Dude, Lovitz had killer characters.
He really did. The liar.
And have you ever watched Phil Hartman's audition reel?
I actually have, yeah.
It's so cool to see him and young Lovitz. They were like groundlings, buddies, best friends or whatever. I love the story of Lovitz kicking the shit out of Andy Dick.
Oh, I don't know that story.
So a lot of people blame Andy Dick for Phil Hartman's death
Oh, wow.
because
Where did he die? On the basketball court?
no, his wife shot him to death.
Oh, his wife. Who
Yeah.
was the guy that died on the basketball court like 10 years ago? Like, I think he was doing a lot of blow and then he played basketball and died. But anyway, go ahead. His wife shot him.
His wife shot him to death and then killed herself.
Whoa.
And she was like a unsuccessful actress who became Phil Hartman's wife and was just his wife and had issues with that.
Wow.
But she was clean, and then Andy Dick, apparently at some party, got her doing blow again. And then she started getting hooked on blow and resenting Phil Hartman a lot
Right.
for his fame and her lack of acting, and then murdered him and killed herself.
Wow. I don't remember that because, there's so much crazy shit.
I was devastated. I was
But
like
you're a huge
17.
fan, yeah.
And again, I'm a young, this is one of my comedy idols at that moment, and just killed. It's like Farley died a couple months before, but
Right.
Farley was dying. You know what I mean?
Right.
He was doing it to
This
himself.
guy got murdered. Whenever someone gets murdered, like
Yeah,
John
you're like,
Lennon,
oh,
you're
yeah.
just like, what a fucking scumbag.
If someone kills themselves, in my mind, I can, tell myself they wanted to die.
yeah, it's their own.
It's their thing.
It's
So,
their own
I'm
choice,
not gonna judge
whatever.
them, and yeah.
not at all.
But yeah, if someone gets killed, that's brutal. So, but yeah, that was the era. It was the early 90s.
So you go up
Loving
on
it.
stage at camp, and do you kill?
Just killed. And all I did was just talk about how shitty the camp was. You just see all these counselors like, I'm cursing and just talking. Oh, they're hating it. So I get pulled aside by this counselor. His name was Ricardo. And I always remember that because he kept telling me, he thought he was really going to make a difference in my life. He kept telling me, we have the same name, bro. I'm trying to look out for you. I'm like, okay, Ricardo.
Wow.
And he pulls me aside afterwards. He's like, you have a lot of power and you could be a great leader. Don't use it for bad. And I just remember thinking that, being like,
what is this, Batman?
Fuck this guy. Yeah, what am I, the Darth Vader? What is this, Star Wars? Fuck you. And then from that day on, it was always like, always use my powers for bad. I must never please Ricardo, the Christian rock playing.
So you come back and you...
So I came back and I was just like, love that shit.
Comedy?
And wanted to start going up. I was only 17. They don't even let you in the club until you're 18 in Kansas City.
In Kansas. And what, they got clubs in Kansas?
They got a club at I think they have an Improv and Stanford and Sons now, but at the time it's just Stanford and Sons.
Right.
So I couldn't get in and just kind of put it off. And then my friend John Sheezer, another comic we know out here in L.A., he's a buddy of mine from high school. We met when we were 15, and John came up, party with me. I was in college at this point, doing nothing with my life. And
where are you going to college?
University of Kansas at KU. I was a Jayhawk.
Still in Kansas.
Yep. And
what are you going to college for? Just to go?
Yeah, I just had no other idea what to do, and I knew I wouldn't be able to get into a lot of clubs till I was 21.
Right.
So my goal was always move to LA or New York when I turned 21.
Wow.
And
so you pretty much were like, I'm doing this.
Oh, yeah.
Focused. I'm going to be a comic.
This is all I want to do.
What kind of material are you doing there?
So
John doing material?
Yeah, John calls me and tells me I just went and did the open mic. And I said, what? You doing comedy? He said, yeah, I'm doing the open mic. If you want, I'll sign you up next week. I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
So I drove in from college, and I was an impersonator. I did impressions.
No shit.
I did impressions. I did...
Because you do great ones.
I did a lot of the like hackier ones back then. I did like Seinfeld. And
Kermit the Frog.
Oh, I did. I think
Arnold
I did a walk-in.
Rocky Balboa.
I never got the Arnold in. I couldn't do an Arnold that I thought was better than the other hacky
Kermit
Arnolds.
The Frog?
No. My big time claim to fame impression that I'm pretty sure I was the only one out there doing was Warwick Davis, the midget from Willow. And I would close every set by dropping to the knees and doing about a minute of Willow doing comedy. It's
Let's hear that.
Mad Martigan, we have to save the baby.
And just saying,
I'm warning you, I'm a great and powerful sorcerer.
And people just like, there's something wrong with this dude.
Wow.
I don't think I've done
Who
that
else
in
were
10
you doing?
years.
Let's hear some other ones.
Oh, shit. I was doing a pretty, essentially a hybrid of John Campanera and Will Ferrell's Harry Carey impression.
Right.
I used to do a lot of Harry Carey announcing cockfights.
Yeah.
I did a George Bush. I used to do a thing, the Adventures of Young George W. Bush.
Oh, yeah. We're seeing some Bush. You got him?
It was God, I can't remember what my bits were, but it was all about got to keep these Middle Eastern kids out of our fraternities. Got a bad bag of blow from that Iraqi kid. He's going to pay for it someday. I guarantee that. Stuff smelled like he cut it with Ajax.
Oh, so he's paranoid. He's getting... This actual war was just a...
It was all...
back because of this bad bag of blow.
Everything, yeah, it was all about how he used to just get fucked on bags of blow by Middle Eastern kids. So someday he'll get his revenge.
You know, so you're kind of doing the impressions because in your mind you're thinking, hey, I want to
SNL and
I want to get there,
yeah. And then I did a bunch of stupid characters too,
ones you made up.
Yeah, ones I made up also, right. And I had an impression of a fucking cable guy before there was Larry the Cable Guy. Right. As soon as that happened, I'm like, well, I can't do that one anymore.
Wow, yeah.
And it was all just based on this white trash dude that came to do our cable.
Yep.
And at the time, my roommate had a chinchilla, and this white trash dude had never seen or heard of it, and his mind was just blown. Man, I can't wait to call my buddies and tell them about this chinchigger.
Oh,
like,
no. Whoa.
That sounded almost racist, guy. I mean, what is this, like? It's like a Mexican mouse or something? Like, no, not.
Oh, my God.
Man, that is crazy, man. They're taking over everywhere. You're like, what?
Yeah,
Jesus.
Man. There's people out there, right?
Oh, man.
Man, I did a movie in Shreveport. People will say stuff to you, and they don't know anything about you. You could have, like,
he's probably a member of whatever secret society of extremely white people I belong to.
Oh, man. What?
Yeah.
So insane.
There were so few minorities where I lived growing up that to me, the two groups were there were white people, and there were white trash people.
Yeah.
And, like those are the two demographic groups.
Yeah.
And you could tell within 4 seconds of talking to someone, like, oh, okay.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Got
Racism
it.
to me is so bizarre. I just don't get it. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, how do you? First of all, people aren't going away. You know what I mean? It's like, what
Hell
do you
no.
think? What do you think? You're just gonna like? And second of all, like, other people are awesome. I don't
Yeah.
understand what the fuck. I've had white people fuck me over way more than anybody
Yeah.
else on the planet.
And you know, I look at it like I'm the same way. I've had so many more terrible experiences with white people
It's so
because I've
true.
had so many, you know, terrible, just so many white people I've been interacting
Yeah.
with, and I think like obviously there's horrible people of every group.
That's all it is. It's like
But
a
there's
horrible
good
person,
people
but it doesn't
in everyone.
matter what color you are.
Yeah.
If you're horrible. You're horrible.
Judge everyone for their terribleness independently.
Exactly.
That's all I'm looking for when
Yeah.
it comes to hatred.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did impressions, and you know I was like, this is cool. And in Kansas City, that shit just crushed.
Oh yeah.
I thought I was fucking like a step away from having an HBO special.
Right.
I'd get like second and third place. Sometimes I'd win the open mic in Kansas City.
Well, I always say there's two things hard to follow. One is the big crowd worker guy like you, and the other one is a guy that's just doing like 20 impressions.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, they're gonna work. You know. And
Yeah.
You're going, oh fuck.
And I always like, as a comedian that has to watch comedy and hates a lot of it,
Yeah.
just because you see it the same thing so often.
Yeah.
I love when an impressionist does an impression and they just keep doing it, and you know the crowd's kind of like, okay, that's good, and it's not really that funny. It's just like a good impression,
Yeah.
and you're like, they're nailing it. They don't
Yeah.
have any joke writing ability, but they're
Right.
nailing the
They're
impression.
just doing the guy.
It just sounds like them.
Yeah.
Not funny, but and they'll be doing it like a minute, and they get a minute in. It's like, okay, we get it now,
Yeah.
and then the crowd will start clapping like in a get on to the next one. We're
Yeah.
just gonna clap until you stop this shit.
And the guy's going like, fuck, this usually
They
kills.
love it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this
God,
usually
why don't you
kills.
love this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always awkward.
To me, it's all about like impressions. To me, are like Maria Bamford. You know,
Yeah.
just fucking cool as shit. I mean, I go see her and I get so obsessed with her because she's just doing like a one-woman show, basically.
Right.
Which is cool. She'll
What
just
she
be like,
wants.
oh, what
Yeah.
are you coming around here for? You think I'm fucking some kind of maniac?
Yeah.
And then she's doing the other guy, I don't think you're a maniac, fool. And you're going like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
These are
She's
voices
intense.
in her head that are coming out on stage, man. This is great.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but that's something that's, you know, authentic. That's like
Right.
her doing it. That's not.
Exactly. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, anything
It's
that
not that fucking-
anything that's genuine just comes out, and you're like, that's great.
Yep.
But there's so many impressionists. I know some of the stuff I was doing was that way too, where it's like I could sound like them, but I didn't have anything funny.
Yeah.
Like coming up with a funny excuse to do that impression is 80% of the impression.
Yeah.
Like I started out just doing a George Bush impression when I was doing it, and then it was like, again, at the time I'm 20.
Yeah.
And I looked like I was 15.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're like Biddlecombe.
Nobody, yeah, exactly. Nobody wants to see a fucking 15-year-old do political jokes
Yeah.
about the president. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Have you been able to vote for a year?
How
Fuck
old
you.
is this
Yeah.
guy? You know?
So, like, I'd go on stage to do it, and every adult in the room would be looking at me like, go back to, you know, geography class or whatever,
Yeah.
kid. We don't want to hear about it from you. So I'm like, well, how do I got to do this in a way that they like? So then it became, well, you know, if I do, everyone knows George Bush used to party.
Yeah.
Like, so what if I did it while he's in college? All the stupid shit that
Way
shaped
better.
him into who he is.
All of a
And
sudden
then people
it's
like
better.
it. Yeah. You know, this is my impression of a young George W. Bush. And then, oh, I could see that. That is, oh, what an idiot. That is
Yeah.
exactly what that idiot would be like.
Yeah. That's what's great about people if they do the proper impressions.
Right.
You know, where they're just completely have taken the guy outside the box.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what are you going to do? You're going to do George Bush up at the podium. He can't read.
He says
come
funny
on, man.
words
What
and-
the
yeah.
fuck? But if
Yeah.
you're going to do George Bush trying to score some coke in college, like, I know you're trying to rob me, fool. I can see. I know measurements.
What is this, cut with Ajax? I know Ajax when I sniff Ajax.
Exactly, right?
It's like, man.
I've sniffed Ajax before, and this is exactly like it.
Same exact burning everything. Who you fooling, Saddam?
Now, the amazing thing is, I know how you can get, and it happened to me, you can get locked into the addiction of big laughs, which is what you're probably getting with the impressions at the time. What makes you leave the impressions? Because that's when, to me, if I was doing so early, first couple years of comedy, you're getting big laughs, and then somebody tells you that's some bullshit.
Yeah.
And then you're starting over at the chalkboard. Ian Edwards was the guy that told me, hey, you're just doing bullshit. And then you start over, and that fucking year or so is a whole, you go like, maybe I'm not cut out to do this.
I'm not. I don't know if I'm right for this. And so I moved to L.A. Like, everyone in Kansas City was like, you got to wait till you have an hour and a headlining act, and then you can move to a city. That's what everyone tells you.
Yeah.
I was just like, you guys are fucking
That's
retarded.
some Kansas rules, right? Nobody even knows. From what I heard, you got to have an hour.
Otherwise, the city won't accept you in city limits. You're like, what?
You show up, what's your hour? You know, like, that's hilarious, right? Just rules. There's no fucking rules. You get on a fucking bus and you move
that's
here.
the thing, though. Like, when you start comedy in like a mid-level to small-level city, there's like 5 to 6 or 7 comics, local comics.
Yep.
That run the local comedy scene.
And they're all scared to move.
All scared to move.
Make shit up.
They
really do.
And it's like they each do probably like 8 road shows a year.
Yep.
Where they feature for someone they kind of know, Jerry, the angry clown, who's huge in the Southeast, that kind of shit.
Is that real?
Yeah, he is something, the disgruntled clown. I can't remember his name.
Okay.
He opened for me and Paulie in South Carolina.
That's so great.
And the best part about him, if he still exists, it was amazing. They tell us that we got the disgruntled clown opening for you.
Yeah.
And we're waiting for the show to start, and this dude shows up, and he's just like this fat dude.
Yeah.
He's not in his outfit or no outfit.
Right.
And he's in a fight with the manager. And I'm like, oh, this guy never leaves character.
Yeah.
And I keep waiting for him to like put his shit on. And then he's like, fuck you, I'm not putting it on tonight. And then he just goes out on stage and just fucking yells
Just
about
disgruntled human.
like actual disgruntled guy about did like 10 minutes on how it's not worth doing the makeup for the money they were paying him.
Wow.
Like,
the
he's
makeup
living
costs
it.
more than he's making.
This guy's living the character.
Disgruntled human.
And then Paulie's all,
Can you do, Paulie?
dude, come on, bro. Dude, don't do so good out there, bro. Why are you telling jokes that the crowd likes? Make it easy.
Oh, man.
The wheeze.
That's fucking great, man.
The wheeze is awesome if you get them really high. It's something I learned.
Yeah.
And whereas it's just kind of like, man, he's kind of stiff sometimes.
Yeah.
And then like a few times people would get him to like smoke pot. I've only witnessed it like maybe 4 or 5 times.
Yep.
For the next 3 or 4 hours, he's like the funniest, coolest dude. And you're like, someone needs to get this dude stoned every morning.
Well, I think when you're like my age or say Paulie's age, I don't know, I think he might be like right around, whatever. I think what happens is when you burn it up so fucking hard in the 80s and then you step out of that and but since you're in comedy or rock, let's say you're in rock and roll still or something,
right.
You're still around the new guys that are finding, we're party, motherfucker, party.
Yeah.
Oh. It really makes you just be like, oh, get the fuck out of here. You become your father or something, you know?
And Paulie's definitely a victim to that, just from his character that he created in the 90s and shit. Like, every show I ever did with him, it's just people like, you got to come get wasted with us, Weasel.
Right.
And when you're in the South or the Midwest, anywhere the Jesus territories, like I say, it's... you'll hear like 15 times per show, like, you should come hang out. We'll do like a son-in-law thing at our house, Paulie.
Oh, man. Yeah, you know.
And he's, it'll be fun, dude. Yeah, $15. Here's a T-shirt.
Uh-oh, hold on a minute.
Authorities are here.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, but I understand that. People think when you're like, I'm a rocker, you know, and I do motorcycle jokes and stuff, and they're like, oh, hey, man, hey, come on over to the crib tonight, man. We're going to do some meth and then play some ping pong.
Because they just know you're down.
Yeah.
And by the way, anyone who turns down meth and ping pong is not American, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, you're just not a biker. If you don't
know how to live.
I mean, when I was young, man, that's what you do. You do stupid shit like that. You're at some guy's house, and all of a sudden 3 days go by because he had a foosball table in his living room.
You're
right?
like, by the day 2, you're like, we're gonna go pro.
Yeah.
We're actually gonna form a pro league, and then we'll go pro.
I actually used to think that. Like, I could play foosball so fucking good when you're just on crank.
Oh.
Your mind becomes angles. Like, you could almost become like
a mathematician.
architect, you know? Yeah.
We need to hit
angles.
this. If we hit it at 36 angles and ricochet off that wall, this will go directly into the goal with no chance of a spin.
It's true. It's true, man.
You know what? There used to be a foosball table at the store.
Oh, there was?
Back in the day, yeah.
Oh, God.
And like when I was a doorman,
I would never leave, man.
Well, that's why it's gone.
Yeah.
The first 2 months I was a doorman there, they still had it, and no one was ever at their post.
Yeah.
And it was like there'd be like 15 of us all up in the green room and the belly room, hanging out, waiting next game, and it always had to be doubles because everyone wanted to play.
Yeah.
We were just, oh fuck you, motherfucker. Renazizi was just threatening people.
Did you play no 5-man spin?
Yeah, no spinning.
Yeah, I was teaching someone that rule a couple nights ago. Who was it? Somebody I was with. We did we did some fucking restaurant out in, I don't know where we were, but they had one, and I was like, hey, no spinning, dude. No spin. Oh, I know, it was Steve Henry. Yeah, no 5-man spin.
Right.
And
oh, sorry. So you allow spinning on the lesser?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Sorry, no scoring from the 5-man, the front man.
Oh, okay.
Can't score from that guy.
Right.
And that because that gave it skill that you had to pass it to your other guys.
Right.
And then no spinning of any of the guys.
Right. Yeah. Anyone who lives in a spinning world, that's someone who believes in total anarchy.
Yeah.
I don't accept that. There needs to be some order.
It's just cheat city.
It is, and it's sloppy.
It's cheap playing. Yeah.
You don't do that.
It's dirty dugout. I don't know what the fuck that means.
A filthy, dirty dugout.
So you moved to LA.
Yeah, I moved to LA.
Now, where do you got money, or how do you move here?
I moved here horribly brokenhearted.
Yeah.
Walked in on my girl was going to move with me. Walked in on her fucking a buddy of mine.
Oh.
And was like, it's time to get the fuck out of Dodge.
Wow.
So yeah, I walked in, saw a good amount of a penis much larger than mine going inside. It was like damn, he looks like he's knocking it out.
Wow.
That sucks for me.
How did that happen? Was it a good friend of yours?
No, he was a buddy. He was a guy that I worked with, a guy we partied with. He had like the cool house. His roommate was the weed dealer.
Yeah.
He'd have like the New Year's Eve parties and shit because there's like 6 dudes renting a 7-bedroom mansion for nothing.
One of those. Yeah.
And good enough guy. And he was in a band, all that cool shit.
Oh fuck, band guys
So,
get the puss.
He got it. And I was doing double time. I had stopped going to class and I was working 2 jobs to save up to move.
Yeah.
I just turned 21.
And where were you working?
I was working at Uno's Chicago Bar and Grill.
Yep.
And at a bar backing.
Yeah.
And
just where you can get tips.
yeah, anything I can
Because
make
that's
any
the only
money.
way you can save money to move somewhere.
Yeah.
You need that automatic money each night.
Gotta be
You're putting
quick.
it in something fucking.
You're like, I'm saving this. It's
Yeah.
worth it. And so I'm saving up and at that again, I'm thinking I got to save up enough for me and a girl.
Yeah.
To make sure
All of a sudden, you see that dick in there, you're rich.
I'm like, holy shit. Ding, 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 ding.
I can leave now.
Wait a second. These numbers have suddenly changed. You divide that by 1. Oh, my God. Yeah. So after, several hours of complete insanity.
How long were you going out with her?
Like a year and a half,
That
2
had
years.
to hurt you pretty bad, right? Because you guys got plans. You're moving to LA. You're going to be the new Seinfeld.
Hell yeah.
You know?
And I'm fucking. It completely devastates me just in terms of where it's like, I was such a fool. I didn't even consider the possibility that this is going on.
Yeah.
And working a double at the restaurant, did the morning shift, started doing the night shift. No one was there. So
Plenty
they're like,
of
hey, we're
time
cutting
to
you
cheat.
early. Yeah, they cut me early, and I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Stopped at the bar in the restaurant, had a couple Maker's Marks, fucking headed home, popped that door open, just right there, straight shot on the couch.
Whoa.
Just like, oh, fuck. lose my shit. And
Did you fight the guy?
no, I started fucking, I got in his face and screaming.
Yeah.
And I'm yelling at her what a filthy whore she is and what a fucking cunt she is. And, but just make up a lot of open-ended threats about how I'm going to kill the dude and do all this shit and fucking blow up his
Some
car.
Kansas shit, right? Because that shit does happen
Hell
in Kansas.
yeah,
the
man,
next
just
day, the
like-
guy, maybe that guy moved too. He doesn't even know.
Well, he did end up having to move because he leaves in like a hurry, throws his shit on, leaves. Me and the girl start just screaming. Get a knock on the door. It's the neighbor. So, yeah, you guys need to calm down. Otherwise, I'm going to call the police, blah, blah, blah. Fuck that. Call the police. Tell them there's a fucking whore over here. And if they want to get their dicks wet, this is the girl.
No shit.
losing
911
it.
for a whore.
Yeah. Losing it. Just saying all sorts of crazy
911's a whore in your town.
shit. They were just looked at me like, I'm just going to not bother this guy again.
Fuck.
So it goes, they leave. I slam the door, come back, screaming, fuck you. And she's yelling at me about how I don't fucking pay enough attention and blah, blah, blah. And then I get the knock on the door again. I'm like, oh, it's either the cops or that fucking neighbor again. If it's the neighbor again, I'm just going to hit this dude.
Yeah.
I've had enough. I told him. He saw I was
He
pissed
didn't
off.
even fuck your lady.
Yeah.
You're going to hit
I'm
him
gonna
and
hit
not
this
the guy
guy.
that fucked your lady.
You don't tell me to calm down.
Yeah. You can fuck my lady, but you tell me to calm down, and I'm punching you.
Oh, so mad. I open the door, fucking swing that shit open, just like rage. Like, I hope it's a cop. We're going 8-1. We're dropping a straight, just killing cops.
Yeah.
So the door opens, and it's the fucking weed dealer roommate of the dude that just fucked my girl.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is this dude doing? Obviously, he knows that Dave is supposed to be over here.
Oh.
So I'm like, what the fuck do you want?
Yeah.
And this dude's the drummer in the band as well, fucking I always liked him. He was cool. Great deals on weed in college. And he said, hey, is Dave here? Fuck no, he's not, bitch. What the fuck do you want?
Yeah.
Get the if I see his ass, he's a fucking dead man.
Yeah.
He's all, if you see him, will you tell him our house is burning down?
Whoa!
And I'm just like, boom, in my head, literally so insane. In my mind, the first thing I think is, I have fucking superpowers.
Yeah.
I'm completely convinced in my mind for like 20 minutes, like, I can fucking blow shit up with my mind right now. That's how fucking out of my mind I was.
That's crazy, right?
Like, no consideration.
In
like,
my mind, I would be like, I got to get the fuck out of here because I just caught him fucking my lady.
I'm
and
getting
they're gonna
blamed.
think I lit that shit on
Yeah.
fire.
oh, I was fucking incensed. And at the same time, I feel like that's instant karma. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Oh,
that is immediate.
That
like,
is some amazing Instagram.
like, holy fuck to this guy and his awesome party house. Peace. Yeah, so shit burned down. In the end, it was fucking Gator, the fucking dumbass drummer guy, lit his curtains on fire in the basement in the fucking weed den.
Yeah.
Fucking burned the shit down.
in
It's like,
just the fucking stoner box.
oh, man.
That's a stoner move, right?
I felt, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I had all the candles lit, like a dumb shit, fucking passed out. Shit
Fucking
lights up.
dumb.
Burned their whole house down.
So you move out to LA, man.
So,
you're
yeah.
you're clean.
Moved
no
out
chick.
to LA. Got
You
no
got
chick.
a pocket full of money, or just a little bit?
Got enough to get myself started.
How do you get out of here? A car? You got a car?
I have a sweet ass '95 Windstar minivan, Ford
Oh.
Windstar.
Oh fuck!
Fucking
soccer coach.
Got it from mom and dad. Dirt cheap.
And are they now? You got brothers or sisters?
Yeah, I have an older brother, 3 younger sisters.
So you say, "Hey, I'm going to be a comedian, and I'm moving to LA." Are they looking at you like you fucking crazy?
Yeah, I think a little bit, but at the same time, it wasn't like it was a hidden thing. I mean, everyone was pretty aware that was my dream. So
Yeah.
I always got really good grades and did well in school up until when I stopped going to class in college. So, I think part of them was kind of like, really? You're not going to just go to college and do the normal thing?
No.
But, I had a different plan. It was like I was already doing what I wanted, and I was going to film school at University of Kansas. I mean, what a fucking joke.
Yeah, a film school.
I never saw a camera when I was there. Like,
That's just some kind of entertainment. You just picked it, right? Like, there it is.
Yeah.
Film school.
I was like,
That's comedy,
That's
right?
what I want to do. That's about the same shit.
That's
Make
comedy,
movies.
right?
Oh, yeah, that's why I'll have an inside track to making movies. But instead, it's like, it's Kansas. It's not USC.
Yeah.
You're not meeting filmmakers and shit. It's like,
Yeah, Jim Morrison ain't floating
Hell
around
no.
running into fucking.
I watched fucking Citizen Kane 18 times in film school at kids because every professor, whoa, time to watch Citizen Kane. I want everyone to pay attention to the zoom-ins. I don't want to fucking watch the zoom-ins. Fuck old movies.
Yeah.
That's all I learned from film schools. Fuck old movies. Fuck anything made 65 or earlier.
You don't like old movies?
Oh, they're fucking awful.
That's
the
funny.
style
It's
is
funny
terrible.
you say that because I don't.
Starting in the 60s, amazing.
Yeah.
Like, amazing.
Yep.
But I just can't do it, man. It's
I
like
do
theater.
love
It's like
Citizen
watching.
Kane, but I didn't see it till last year. See,
And listen, I've seen Citizen Kane now, and it's awesome. And compared to movies of its time, it is far and away. Like,
but there's like 5 movies from the old days, right?
That's it,
There's
yeah.
nothing else.
Hell no.
Right? You're not going like, what about that masterpiece from 1945?
no, it's like Hitchcock did a few great movies.
That's it. You got
and
Hitchcock,
a
and then
couple
you
other
get to the
guys,
60s, and you get some drugs going. You got
Yeah.
Easy Rider, and then it's
Yep.
up and running.
That's when things start rocking.
Fuck yeah. What's that book? Easy Rider and Raging Bulls? Unbelievable.
Yeah,
You know?
awesome.
That era of filmmaking is probably the finest filmmaking ever. There'll
was so
never
great.
be anything that good again.
No, and the only other comparable era in terms of creativity, I think, is like mid 90s when independent film
Yeah.
became like a pop
Yeah, like
thing. So
like,
it was like
Drugstore Cowboy.
right, and all those like
what was
low
the one
budgets.
River Phoenix was in? That one where, you know, they're sucking dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that film. You get into some David Lynch stuff, which is fucking
A lot of his
masterpiece.
even like the zany comedy world of that was going on with independent film in the
Yep.
90s. Kevin Smith and
Exactly.
like, people
Like
just doing
Swingers,
Quentin Tarantino, Favreau, young
what's
Favreau.
the one where they work the Kevin Smith, the Clerks, all that
Yeah.
shit. I understand what you're saying. That shit is fucking great.
There was a lot of good shit then.
And those
too.
are young guys with vision, and they were allowed to make films because it looked like, well, it's what is it, $3 million? Fuck
Yeah,
it, let's
exactly.
do it. And man, did
compared
they
to
make
the fucking world of the Titanic.
I mean, there's my DVDs right there, and they're all either 60s, 70s, 80s, or those films you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah.
You know, all that stuff. Well, David Lynch, to me, I think is probably the king of all that era because the stuff he made, like, who the fuck's coming up with that shit? You know?
Yeah,
You got fucking Mulholland Drive.
He's doing Twin Peaks
Twin
also.
Peaks, the TV show.
So that was another thing. Like when I was a little kid, I was like a 3rd and 4th grader, and my parents, I just loved entertainment.
Yep.
So whatever they watched, you know,
Yeah, you watched.
that's what we watched.
Yep.
And they got it really into Twin Peaks. I remember being like a 3rd and 4th grader, and that shit was on those 2 seasons, and watching that shit, and then just laying in bed at night, being like, "This world is fucked up."
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
right?
growing up early.
I saw
Killer
the movie,
Bob.
the Twin Peaks movie. I was in Florida at the time after Hurricane Andrew. So the entire area, we had a vacation booked to go to Disney World. And then, there's a
Bummer.
hurricane took out
Yeah.
everywhere. So no one's in a festive mood. I remember me and my buddy, it was raining. We went and saw Firewalk with me, the
Right.
Twin Peaks Firewalk. And we're the only guys in there because everybody else, their shit's all destroyed.
Right.
The theater was still open. We're like, all right, let's just go in here.
We're gonna make $8. Let's do it.
Yep, exactly.
That's what they're thinking. They have nowhere else to go to be entertained.
So you're out here in LA, and where do you live first? Hollywood?
No, I had a buddy that I knew. My first semester of college, I went to a real small film school in Santa Fe.
Oh, yeah.
And that was like originally, it was like they pursued me. They came and found me.
Santa Fe's nice, right?
Loved it.
God,
But
me too.
I mean, it's awesome
It's
down
beautiful.
there.
And Taos.
Yeah. all
And then
of
you
it's
got
so pretty.
Albuquerque, and you're like, what
Shit
the
hole.
fuck?
How the fuck that? Like,
You can't believe it.
there are people all over the country of Mexico that are like, I wouldn't go to Albuquerque, bro. Fuck that.
That's crazy, right? Santa Fe's beautiful. I love
Loving
It's
it.
all those, you have to have the same look.
Yeah,
You know,
no
those-
buildings over 3 stories.
Yeah,
Everyone has to be.
It's all clay.
Yeah, stucco or the Adobe.
whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just beautiful.
This film school was a complete joke, though.
Oh.
I mean, it was such a like. I remember I was there one semester and just being like, this just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the non-film classes I was taking, or like classes that I took when I was like a freshman in high school, where I'm like, how is this?
Yeah, you're going backwards.
Yeah, this doesn't seem right.
Actually, they don't even know what they're just like, here, just do this curricular shit, and then we'll have the film school on Fridays.
Yeah, well, and like my English class, which you'd think is like, well, you have to have a few academics. My English teacher didn't show up up for 6 weeks. Out of that, I was in school there for maybe, half a year, so maybe 30 weeks.
Yeah.
16 of them, she's gone.
Man, where do you get that job?
And
I'm a teacher. I just go on the last semester.
She
and
came
they grade
back, and it went from being Miss Davis to she shows up, and we're all kind of shocked. Like, I would show up like once every 2 weeks, just like, I wonder if she's going to show up.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're all going to fail. How does this work? She shows up towards the end. Well, someone said, yeah, Miss Davis showed up. And then it was like, oh, do we have to go to class again? So all right. So I showed up on that, whatever the last class of that week was, and she was there. And a bunch of people showed up, all kind of like, what happened? She's like, oh, I'm sorry, everyone. I went to the fair.
The
It was
fair?
like the fair for 6 weeks.
I went to the fair.
And then she's, oh, also, I'm no longer Miss Davis. From now on, I want everyone to call me Marmica.
What?
And we were like,
Marmica?
okay.
Time to check out of that
fuck
school,
this
man.
place. Yeah, so I'm out.
Marmica.
And then
Dude, that's a character you got to be doing. Marmica.
Hi. Oh, she got inside a story of asked a student, like, why were you late the other day? He's like, I was on acid. I was walking across the commons, and one of those groundhogs was looking at me all weird. Oh, tell me about that experience. Everyone was like, what the fuck is going on?
Insane.
Yeah, so I bailed out, and then what would have been my graduating class was the last class of the college.
Oh, they just
That
went
shit
out of business.
It was so bad. Like, it was just a full art school. It had like acting, art, and theater, film, all that stuff. Just completely bankrupt.
Right.
And just collapsed, and now I think it's just part of the University of New Mexico.
That's hilarious.
It's like a satellite campus or whatever. But yeah, it was pretty clear that things were strange from the beginning. So anyway, I met a couple cool people out there, though, and one of them lived out here with his parents in Redondo. So that's who I stayed with when I moved out here.
Yeah.
And then I got a place in Manhattan Beach. Because, I'm a kid from Kansas. I'd lived 2,000 miles from an ocean forever.
Yeah,
It was just
Manhattan Beach is pretty cool, right?
It was like I showed up there. I'd watch the movie Blow a lot, and that's where
Yeah.
Johnny Depp shows up.
Yeah.
I'm like, this seems like a cool place. So I was all about it. And it was awesome. I was like
You're just living the blow thing.
21 years old.
Are you doing any blow?
No, I actually never got into any hard drugs.
Wow, that's crazy.
I tried mushrooms when I was in college.
Yep.
And I did it one time out here, and I just passed out.
You passed out on the mushrooms?
Yeah, they crushed them up and like put them in little gel tabs or whatever, and I just whatever happened, I got real sick, and then I passed out and woke up like 11 hours later, just like, what the fuck? I was at my buddy's couch. They're like, yeah, you just passed out. I'm like,
So you're out here. Do you start just doing comedy? Where are you going? Open mics? What are you doing?
I met this comic named Freeze Love.
Yeah, Freeze Love. Yeah.
And he got me in at the Comedy Store.
Yep.
He
Just
told me
like
to meet him up there. Like, it was the guy I was staying with's dad was one of those. He's one of those dudes that just likes being the guy that knows people.
Yeah.
So my buddy Dave, who I was staying with, was like, yeah, my friend Rick just moved out here. He's a comedian. So Dave's dad's like, oh, I've got a buddy whose son is an agent.
Yeah.
And he represents a comedian. I'll totally hook you up. I was like,
Wow.
all right. So he calls me. Dude actually calls me, and he's like, yeah, I'm so-and-so's friend, and I represent this comic, Freeze Love. He's a black dude. I'll meet you at the Comedy Store. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
So I met him up there.
What year are we talking?
This is like 2000.
2000.
This is the Christmas after 9/11.
Okay. What was that?
So 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I come out here. I was out here for a week then, just seeing if I liked L.A.
Oh. So you just came out
And,
for a week. I
yeah.
got you. You hadn't moved yet.
Yeah, not yet. No, that's when I met Freeze Love anyway.
Right.
And so then that hooked me. He was like, yeah, I can get you up here at the Comedy Store, at least on employee nights and stuff. I'm like, sweet. I've got a place now. I can go up.
That's fucking pretty good, right?
Yeah, so I'm thinking that's awesome. So then a couple months later, that's when the shit happened with the girl, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm moving. I'm going out here.
The store's a different animal back then, right? 2000.
Yeah.
Give me a little rundown. Who's there and what's it like?
Mitzi's still around.
Okay.
She's not there every night, but she's there probably 3-4 nights a week.
Right.
And she has started losing her mind a little bit.
Right.
Like, definitely not on point 100% of the time.
Right.
She's still there probably about 65-70% of the time back then, like on point, but couldn't stay up late, so she wasn't watching comedy anymore.
Yeah.
Other than like she'd come to do showcases.
And who are some of the big comics in there at the time?
It was bad.
Oh,
it was
yeah?
like it was brutal. She obviously hadn't watched modern comedy in 5 or 6 years.
Right.
So the lineups were a lot of like dudes from the 80s, late 80s that are still doing their bits from the late 80s.
Like,
you know,
old Tonight Show stuff?
Yeah. And it was
I got a Trans Am.
yeah, and it's
Burt Reynolds.
stuff that you're like, that would be a great observational bit in 88. But like in 2003, it's like,
I saw a guy a
This
couple
is
nights
sad.
ago. You could tell he was an older dude like that. And he was up on stage and he said, man, how about these gas prices? They're so high, man. I mean, right? And I'm like, no, they're actually at a 10-year low right
Yeah,
now. I'm in the
bad.
back thinking like, dude, it's $3.49 for premium.
yeah.
I'm thinking maybe he's going to do some joke, but he was
Nope.
just rolling on that.
He
like,
had the bit.
These gas prices are outrageous, huh? I go,
Mind-boggling.
Well, I guess up against like 1975, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're comparing it to,
Yeah.
pre-Bush era
That's
gas prices,
fucking hilarious.
it was just brutal. And
Are you working there?
yeah, I was working. They gave me a job there, and I worked the door, and I lucked out. I was like maybe 3 months moving to LA,
Yep.
and still 21 years old, and
Fucking working at the
had to work
comedy
the back
store?
door. And back then, you had to showcase for Mitzi to be an employee.
Yeah.
But the way they do it is they would hire you, and then eventually they would get you on the showcase list. And if you did well, then you could keep working.
Right.
And if you did bad, then you got fired. Not only were you not allowed to do comedy anymore, but you weren't allowed to be a doorman.
Yeah, because they really want the employees to start getting
Right.
time, and then
It was comedy college, is what
yeah,
you call
right.
it.
You're working there, and you get to see all the greats, and
And they were paying us $25 a night back then to work, 9-hour
Wow,
shifts, 25 a night as an
Wow.
independent contractor. And you were just like, perfect. I want the stage time. I'll do it.
yeah. No taxes, just 25, and then 1099.
1099. So then you owe money at the end of the year on the $3 an hour you were making, or
Yeah.
whatever it was. So Mitzi showed up to do a showcase list. She showed up specifically to pass Ari.
Yeah.
Like she had Duncan call Ari and tell Ari that his 6 years of showcasing were over, that he had waited long enough, and she was ready to pass him.
No shit.
So come
but he
down.
had to do the showcase?
Yeah, had to do the showcase.
Hey, I'm going to pass you.
Don't fuck this up.
Yeah.
How much pressure is that? Like,
Yeah.
wait, so I'm in
Yeah.
unless I do really bad?
Yeah,
Fuck,
yeah.
that's even worse.
Yeah. I remember Tommy did that to me. He said, Paulie wants to see you about 3 years in, 2.5 years in. He goes,
Yeah.
Paulie's here and he wants to see you. And I was like, where, in the office? He's all, no, on the stage.
In the
I'm like,
office.
yeah, I didn't know. Like, Paulie, what
No,
I do?
yeah.
You know what I mean? And then
Too much cursing, bro.
and then he's like, don't just do your stuff. Just do, and you're going, oh fuck.
Yeah, well,
that's the word. If he would have just said, hey, you're going on next, I would have been great.
Yeah, you
But,
wouldn't have known.
You get that in your head. He's back there. You can see him.
Well, and so the employees who had already showcased for and been passed to keeping employees,
Yeah.
they got priority on the showcase list, because if she passed you the second time, you got to be a paid regular. And that was just how the process worked,
Right.
whatever. So she shows up, and I'm just like, well, that sucks. I'm not even going to get to do my employee spot tonight, because she had like 10 random comics on the showcase list, and then she would watch like 3 or 4 employees.
Right.
And like that was your in to get on the showcase list, was being an employee there.
Yeah.
Unless you had a manager that called all the time and was trying to get you showcases. It was real, like Hollywood-ish back then.
Yep.
So she came in to pass Ari, and she watched Ari, passed him, and then she watched Kirk Fox, who was like Paulie's friend at
Yep.
the time, and Kirk just crushed. And
Yeah.
she passed him, and then she watched this employee named Drew,
Uh-huh.
and dude just bombed so bad, like so bad. He got like maybe 40 seconds into his set,
Yeah.
and then it was the death sentence. You would hear it once every 3 months. You would hear it when she was there. It was the best. It
Yeah.
would just be dead silent in a room, and then you would just hear,
Light 'em.
Oh, no.
From the back of the room, just this old lady voice. And you were just like, oh.
Yeah.
And you got, well, instead of 5 minutes, you were lit at 40
Light
seconds.
'em.
Light 'em. Just light 'em up.
Whoa.
And then the light turned on. And
And
you
then
saw-
Van Halen lighting up the sky came on.
Lighting up the sky.
Mitzi has that power. They actually walked in the back.
Yeah. You just drop
You're
through
like,
the
oh.
floor and you're on the Sunset Strip.
Done. Slide you out.
I love that. Light 'em.
Light
Oh
'em.
my God, that's brutal.
It
Look
was-
at my
it was-
arm hairs.
it was
man.
like the-
That's scary.
I went up her twice in
Yeah.
fear both times that I was going to hear it.
Give him the light.
Oh, man.
But so then she lights him early, and then it's scatter. Like suddenly the 6 employees that are supposed to be on the
They're
top of the
gone.
employee showcase are gone because
Yeah,
they're all
fuck
just like
it. They don't
"Fuck
want to be
this."
on.
And then Skippy Simon, who was hosting,
Yep.
comes up and he's like, "Hey, Rickles." That's what he always called me.
Yeah.
Hey, Rickles, you're next. I'm like, what? What? You know, what about Ramos and
Yeah. You're like, fuck.
dude, I can't find any of them. He's like, you're next. I'm like, oh, fuck me.
Oh no.
But I'm so, like, I'd already planned it if I got to go up. And I had already determined I wasn't going to go up because there was a showcase.
Yeah,
So you
when
miss
that-
your employee spot.
When your mind's like that, you check out,
Yeah.
right? I don't know
I'm
if
mad.
it's great one way where all of a sudden you get into the deer in the headlights and you fucking you perform.
Yeah.
Or you go, fuck, I'm not ready. I just threw this a night away in my mind.
And I definitely wasn't comfortable enough doing what I was doing to just be fucking trying to wing it in front of Mitzi.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I start panicking, and then I'm like, do I have time to fucking hide? Like, can I go somewhere? Like, I don't want to go up either. And then he's like, or it was supposed to be someone than me, and then Skippy comes back and he's like, I can't find him. You're next. And I was like, what?
That's the worst.
I just fucking lose. I start sweating bullets, like armpit stains to my chest.
Yeah.
Go up on stage, and I was I'd stopped doing all impressions because when I started working at the Comedy Store, all of the dudes like Dave Taylor, Ari, Renazizi, all of them were like, you got to stop doing that shit, bro.
Yeah.
Impressions are terrible.
That's
Not your
cool.
impressions,
That's-
but like just in general.
That's
Impressions
cool
are
that
terrible.
they told you that, right? So that
Yeah.
means they liked you.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Ian, he told me, he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that joke's bullshit.
That's
You-
what
you
they're all
need
saying.
guys
Like, you can
that,
be funnier. You know, you're just better than this. Is more or less what they're telling you. Like,
Yep.
you're better than what you're doing.
Yep.
So I'd started trying to do bits, but then I'm like, I still got better laughs with impressions.
God damn, right? All of a sudden they're your fucking.
That's
it's
my
like-
bread and butter
Yeah,
fallback. So I'm
totally.
like, what am I going to do? And I'm going to go up in front of Mitzi. So I start panicking. And I'm like, open with the character, will work. So I opened with a bit. Like, I still did the same exact thing I do now, where I go up and I pretend like they're just like giving me a standing ovation.
Yeah.
And they're not. They're just like, who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah.
So I go up and just give myself fake kudos.
Yeah.
And maybe 20 seconds of fake waving with a big stupid smile on my face and bowing excessively
Yeah.
for the 11 people in the crowd not enjoying it.
Yeah.
And then I just hear,
That's great.
and
No.
I'm like, oh shit.
You heard that?
Yeah.
That's great.
And I'm just like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
So then I start doing my bit, and they light me at 3 minutes or whatever it is. I'm just like, oh fuck, I didn't hear her say anything.
Yeah.
And the crowd was laughing at my shit. I did
And
some
what
of
are you
my.
doing, bits or?
I did like a joke that I wrote about something, and I did that impression of the cable guy that I did.
Yeah.
That was the character fallback that I went with, was this white trash guy.
Yeah.
And then I opened with the joke about being from Kansas. I think that was my opener.
Right.
Something about I can't remember now, but I walked off stage and just like, oh fuck, don't look at her.
Yeah.
Don't look at her. Just
yeah.
just walk by her.
Yeah.
She won't fire you. And I walked by, and as I started walking by, she got the old witch arm reach out, grab my fucking arm, and I literally like tingle down my spine, just like, I'm gonna be executed.
Where are you from?
I was like, I'm from Kansas.
Oh, you're great. The best comics come from the Midwest.
Whoa.
And I was like, oh, thanks. And then I said, well, thanks for letting me perform here and work here. Like, I really like it, and this is the best I felt.
You need to work on your jokes more.
I was like, oh, okay. And I just bailed as quick as I could, like, fuck.
That's great,
And then
though,
so
right?
I walked out, and I'm like, thank God, I'm still an employee. And then Duncan walks out, and he's like, dude, she wants to pass you.
Well,
And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, you don't even have to do another showcase. She wants to pass you as a regular.
she told him?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I'm like, really? That happens? That can happen?
Yeah.
And so then all the other employees were fucking furious.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm definitely not. There's no way I was ready to be a paid regular.
Yeah.
I had about 8 minutes maybe of like average stuff. Definitely not 15 minutes of decent stuff. It was bad.
It seems to happen like that even now, right? There's always the one person that gets passed that everybody's
Yeah.
like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah. Nonstop. And
no
I
one
was
ever
that guy.
gets over it, right? It's just kind of like...
And part of it I know is I was 21, and
Yeah.
Mitzi loved that I was young and doing it. But that just infuriated everybody.
Yeah.
It was like,
right.
fuck him.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like Ren is Easy still wasn't passed. And Ren is Easy was a really good friend of mine. He still is. So
Yeah.
he wasn't one of the guys that was pissed. But
Yeah.
a bunch of the other dudes was so funny. Rick Ramos, just fuck this guy.
Yeah, yeah. Were they giving you
goddamn.
silent treatment all the time?
Oh, yeah. And I started getting all the terrible shifts.
Yeah.
As a doorman. Like, I didn't get any of the shifts where you could make extra money selling booths and stuff.
So you're passed, but you're still working?
I'm now, still working.
Right. Because now when you pass, people just leave the job usually.
Right.
Right.
And I needed it for the money.
Yeah, you need the money, right.
And right after I got passed, someone complained to the Better Business Bureau and
About the tip
about the
booths?
money,
Oh,
about
yeah.
the 25 a night.
Yeah. Oh.
And so it was finally brought to Peter Shore's attention.
Yeah.
And Peter's like smart dude, really good guy, great sense of humor, real dry, but like really funny guy.
Yeah.
Really intelligent. He's like the Bizarro Shore.
Right.
And he started kind of taking over around that time some of the duties from Mitzi because she just couldn't do it.
Right.
And someone was like, yeah, you realize that you're illegally paying people. And he changed it immediately to minimum wage or whatever it was. So then
That's
it went
great.
to like
all of a
eight-
sudden you're making money.
Yeah,
right?
suddenly, well, not great
Well, I
money,
mean,
but yeah, $8.50 an hour instead of $3.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
That's like
That's
2.5 time raise.
And you're
Yeah.
just also like when I was fucking 21. You're if you're doing your dream, you're like, oh well, I'll figure
I'll sleep on
out
the floor. I don't
fucking
give a
way
shit.
to-
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
I was ready to sleep in my minivan,
Yeah.
bro. I
I
could
don't
take
give a-
those seats out, put a feather
Parking
mattress in
lot
that
back
thing.
there at the
Hell
store.
yeah.
Fuck yeah. Camp Ingram.
Yep. Exactly. And there was plenty of nights that I drank so much that it had to be that anyway because I wasn't driving back to Manhattan.
So how do you I think the main thing I want to get to here is how do you get into this style that you're doing now, which is crowd work, but it's really not crowd work. There's material in there.
Right.
I remember the first time I saw you was the same thing I saw Brian Callen. You know, I saw Brian Callen the first time I was in the store. He's like, oh, I'm like a mountain lion.
Yeah.
I'm coming off the mountain.
majestic.
Get the
Yeah.
hair. It's going down. And I'm thinking, you know, I'm on my horse.
Yeah.
And I see you. And I'm thinking, man, is this guy just... I
He's
swear to
insane.
God, I thought he was just making that up. I was
Yeah.
like, this is amazing,
Yeah.
man. And then a week later, I saw it. It's still amazing me. You go,
Yeah.
oh, you fucker.
You're like, oh,
you
I was
got me."
tricked.
That's how good it was,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Same with you, man.
Yeah. There's
So how do you get into that?
Well, I stopped doing impressions. I started writing jokes, and I do okay on stage. But same kind of thing. You know, all my comic peers and friends are just like, "You're funnier than this. This is bullshit. The stuff you're doing."
Right.
And Freddie Soto was a friend of mine back then, and he watched me. I think Ren is Easy told him to watch me or whatever. So he watched me and was just kind of like, "Yeah, you gotta quit doing all that shit. If I were you, I'd never tell any of those jokes ever again." I was like, "Wow." He's like, you just stop it and then just go up
Hey,
there.
just get rid of yourself.
Yeah, he was like, just start talking it out.
Yeah.
And you'll be funnier if you start talking it out. And so I tried that for a while, and then, you know, it's like one of the things when I was on the road with Dice that I had learned was I would be doing my material that I had at the time, and Dice crowds, they don't give a fuck about anyone other than Dice.
They don't.
Like they don't want to see an opening act.
Nope.
No one goes to fucking
No.
Led Zeppelin to see fucking.
It's like old rock shows.
Yeah.
They're like Van Halen. What's his first band? I
Yeah.
guess we just piss and drink through them and then throw shit at them. If we
Yeah,
want.
exactly. Yeah, who gives a shit of Twiddle-Dee? I've never heard of these guys. I don't want to see them.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah, so I would get into sets sometimes, and you're like in Jersey and New Brunswick.
Yeah.
People are just like, get the fuck off stage.
Yeah. So just straight up, right?
Yeah, it's not like your jokes suck. It's just like, get the fuck out of here.
You're
You're
just, we want Dice now. We want to get home after, you know.
And when those crowds would happen, the first time it happened, I'm just fucking up there, just like, just pound through it. Just make it through the set. Just ignore them.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, that doesn't work. You know, that's terrible. I get off just like 10 of the worst minutes ever, just like, well, that sucked.
Yeah.
When you bomb in front of like 300 people, you're like, I should probably never go on stage again.
Hey, right. It's the weirdest
And it's
feeling.
just like, I got 20 seconds in my set, and some dude stood up and was like, get off stage, faggot.
Oh, man.
And the
You're
crowd
just
all
like,
loved that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this isn't good. The odds are
God.
stacked.
It's crazy, right?
So, second, third time it happened to me, I just went back.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that was fucking smart, you fucking retard.
Yeah.
And like nothing clever, just some shitty insult back. The crowd's just like, yeah.
Yeah, right?
And I'm like, oh. And so then it became like, all right, you can be combative.
Yeah.
So when I do shows at Dice, like half the time it would just be me telling people to fuck off.
Yeah.
And people were like, yeah, this is great.
The fuck off kid.
Yeah, he was like, this
Hey,
is
the
cool.
fuck off kid open.
That's not bad. I
Yeah.
mean, he looks like a punk, but he just told me to fuck myself. So I started doing that. And then, it's like when you do that in front of a crowd that's not there to see Dice,
Yep.
it works sometimes. Then other times people are just like, this guy's a dick.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it took me.
Because you're coming out with armor.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you run into a nice Dice crowd and you're fucking just riddling them.
oh.
Hey, cocksucker.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
man, what's this guy's problem?
Yeah.
So then it became, I had to, train myself like, these are normal people. You can't get away with saying stuff.
Yeah.
And then it was just teaching myself, here are the limits. There's certain things you can do. You can make fun of anybody as long as it appears physically like they could kick the shit out of you.
Yeah.
You can literally say anything in the world, the crowd will accept it. You can't say mean things to a girl.
Right.
They'll turn on you every time because it seems like you're picking on her.
Yeah.
If a girl starts yelling out and acting drunk,
Then
now
it's
you
on.
can now you can fucking ruin her.
Yeah.
Like
that's
for
true.
whatever reason, now the crowd's like, "Fuck this bitch!
Yeah.
She's acting up. You better treat her like shit."
Yeah, right.
You're like, all right, and now they almost expect it out of you.
Yeah.
So it was like just learning little things like that. It's like you can get away with saying a lot of racy, inappropriate shit if early on you high five a black guy and tell him, "Am I right, black guy?"
So you're learning all the tricks.
You just learn all these little tricks.
Yeah.
And it's like the rest of the show, you don't have to say, it doesn't have anything to do with black people.
Yep.
But for whatever reason, they're just like, oh, people get uncomfortable and they think black people might get offended.
Yeah.
But you throw them off early with yeah, you high-fived him. I guess he's cool with what he's saying.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, that's obviously not going to happen most of the time, but sometimes that situation arises and you're like, oh, that's a little trick that works.
Yeah.
So then you just learn little things. And other than that, it's like I just grew up being a nerd.
Yeah.
So it's like you're talking about earlier, it's like I just have this almanac in my brain of completely useless information.
From like reading books and
Reading
shit
books
like that back
and
then.
and
TV.
just watching documentaries and being the nerd that watched.
Yeah, because you seem to like if somebody says, "Yeah, I'm from like Canada," then you go into like full blown like history of
Just
Canada
yeah.
stuff, and then another guy, "I'm from New Zealand," and you're like, "Oh well, and then
Yeah.
you're getting into that.
It's just, there's so many.
I mean, it destroys.
Yeah, well, and that like the secret to that is simple, and the reason why it's hard to follow is anytime a comedian goes on stage, they're going to do the best the more connection they have with the audience.
Yep.
And when you go up with a prepared set and you know what you're going to say and you have the things you're going to talk about, people are either going to relate or they're not.
Right.
But when you go in and you're interacting with the crowd in the moment,
Yeah.
everything is an inside joke. So now everyone is in on everything.
Yeah.
Because it's all about right now.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
for the
about
moment.
Yeah, it's not about I just flew in, I was out of town, and I had this experience at the airport. 80% of the people are sitting there like, I've had a shitty experience at the airport. I can relate. But there's 20% of the people who are like, I'm too poor. I ain't never flown. And they don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like someone does a bit about, riding the Greyhound bus. It's like 20% of the people on Earth have had that experience,
Yeah.
and they're loving it because they know that, you stop every 10 minutes, pick up homeless people.
Yeah, yeah,
You're like, that's
yeah,
funny.
yeah. I got a bit on Greyhound right now.
Do you? Yeah, see? It's
yeah,
like-
because it's. But my point is, I can't believe it's still around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's
who's
awesome.
riding this
Yeah.
thing?
Like,
you
why
know?
does this
'Cause
exist?
No one in here's wrote it.
Right.
And then I get them on board because they're like, yeah, we don't write that.
And that's like everyone can relate to not writing
Yeah.
a fucking bus long distances. Like, why would someone do that?
2013, Southwest is the same price.
Exactly. Yeah.
The Greyhound is not cheap.
No.
It's like $89.
My car broke down on spring break one time. I was in Phoenix, and I had to take the Greyhound back to Kansas City.
Yeah.
And estimated bus ride time was like 23 hours. And I'm like, wow, okay. And that makes sense, I guess. It's a little long, but
Yeah.
you go straight through. That shit took 46 hours.
Fucking crazy, right?
And I'm not kidding. Like, every 15 miles, they'd be like, we got to stop here. Winslow, Arizona.
You're like, what the fuck?
You're like,
And
Winslow.
then one guy got on that was in a Billy Jack movie.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, what is that guy? You know, yeah, you get the creepiest guys next to you. I used to
They're
ride it.
insane. Yeah.
I think it's one of the reasons I don't talk to my father, because he used to just make me ride that from San Fran to Fresno.
You're like, this dude,
My mom would
you're
just
trying to kill
fucking-
me.
Just fucking convicts.
Yeah.
They don't ID to ride it. That's
Yeah.
my joke.
Yeah.
I say on the joke, I say, who's riding this fucking thing? I Google it, and it says convicts, because they don't write ID to ride it.
Yeah.
So it's just a traveling murder cage just
Oh,
going
shit.
around America.
Yeah, on that same exact note, when I was in Alaska, we were waiting to fly back to L.A., and in the airport, they keep coming on the overcom. A reminder, you do not need state-issued ID, or you do not need a government-issued ID to fly in Alaska. And you're just like, why are you announcing that?
Yeah, like,
If you are a terrorist, there's no ID required here in Alaska.
What you want to do is fly in from Alaska.
So should I just
if you're
go
wanted
Germany
for
to
crimes-
Anchorage?
Yeah,
How
right.
does that work?
Germany to Anchorage.
Terrible.
That's true.
But yeah, so when you do crowd work, everything's inside the moment. So everything's an inside joke. Everyone relates. And then you go from that, and you're just like, oh, I'm part of this.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, someone's just telling jokes again. It's time to just listen.
Right. And I figure out everybody always says you got to learn how to reset the room.
Yeah.
That's a big word in the comedy world, reset the room.
Yeah.
And I watch guys do it. I watch guys go on Aptitude, and I see who can do it and who can't do it. And I notice the guys that do it, they go up on stage. If you go right into a bit, you're done.
Oh, yeah.
If they go Rick Ingram, and
Yeah.
you bring up the next guy, and he comes up and goes, "Oh man, I was just at the Ralph's buying ice cream."
Done.
You know, you're done.
Yeah. No, it's,
You know what I mean?
that shit has punished my stage time at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
So many dudes going up to talent coordinator. I won't go up. If I have to go up after them, I won't go up.
Right. That's weird, right?
And part of it's kind of a compliment, but
Yeah.
it's really not. You're just
Yeah.
like, well, this fucking blows.
Yeah.
My stage time, I would used to get like 10 o'clock spots.
Yeah.
Now it's like I'm never before 11. Rarely.
Well, it's,
But at the same, I don't really care.
I
guess.
enjoy going on after. I don't want to say that too loud, because then all of a sudden I'll be the guy every time. You know what I mean? But
Dean says he likes it.
I enjoy it because I like the dynamic of trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And also, you do get the room going. I recently was doing a road gig, and the fucking owner of the club featured for me. I don't know why. And he was doing 30 crowd work, and then I'd have to go up. And for the first 15, tell people, that's the other guy. You don't talk to me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It has
but
to be done.
I'm learning how to do it to where I don't seem like a dick, you know, like shut up,
Yeah.
fucker. You know what I mean? You just play with them a little and slowly get out of that. And the transition is, I think, going up and just looking at the people for about a minute and just taking it in. And they're looking at you and they go, yeah, this is going to be different.
Yeah.
It's going to be different.
Well, and something Ren Azizi always talks about. He's like one dude that's never had any issue with it.
Yeah.
And he does crowd work too, but that's what he says. Like, he's like, if you follow you, because he would take me on the road a lot. He's one of the only dudes who will ever take me on the road.
Right.
And people are like, well, doesn't that suck? Not that he can't follow me, but just like you're saying, like, you kind of got to shift him. And he's like, no, if you go up and you either do some crowd work or even show them, like, make a reference, even if it's just a reference to the last thing that I said.
That's right.
Like, make fun of the same person in the front row.
Yeah.
Or like,
this is the guy you're talking about.
I can't believe I have to go up with this fucking, child molester guy.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Then the crowd's like, yeah.
Yep.
And then you can go in and do whatever you want to do.
I figured it out. I mean, I don't hit it every time, but I figured out what not to do.
Right.
And that's walk up and go, hey, what's going on? So I was on my motorcycle.
Dating stuff in this town.
That fucking you're just gonna get a dick thrown in your mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, fuck, man, it's great to have you on. And,
Thank you.
I
Always
love
a good time.
watching you, and you're an incredible comedian, and I wish you, like, I mean, I think that you'd be the ultimate talk show host. Sometimes I think you would be almost too funny for the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's got to be something out there for you. You're an amazing talent, and you crush. And,
Thank you.
I would take you on the road if I was fucking big in
Thank
1
you.
minute, just because.
Make
and
it a party.
I feel lucky. I'm one of the guys you say hi to down there. So I'm
True.
like, oh shit, Rick likes me.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
The Delray, man.
Delray. But thanks for coming by, man.
Hell yeah. I'm glad to do the pod. Always enjoyable. So.
One last thing, people don't. I know you talked about it on ours, but you have diabetes.
Yeah.
You just found out. What was that, like 2 years ago?
Yeah. I found out 2 days after my 30th birthday.
How
I
do
have
you
juvenile
find out
diabetes.
You have diabetes? I'm afraid of diabetes. I eat a lot of candy. I don't know anything about diabetes.
Well, most people have type 2. That's the kind you can get from eating too much candy and drinking too much Mountain Dew and all
And
that.
how do you get that? You just drinking that shit but not exercising?
Yeah, I mean, it's really in both cases, it's genetics, what it comes down to. But I have type 1, which is just my body produces antibodies, like white blood cells, that literally kill the part of my pancreas that produces insulin.
Now, what does it mean? You can't have sugar?
No, I can't have sugar. I essentially can't have carbs. My body doesn't process carbs.
Oh,
and,
carbs.
And sugar is just the simplest form of a carb.
So you could be on an Atkins diet and be fine then, right?
I could. I would have other complications from it because you do need to get like some carbs.
How do you get your carbs?
Well, I give myself shots.
Right, I got you.
I have to do insulin shots.
But can you eat carbs?
Yeah, I mean that's what I give myself the shots for, so I can eat.
Oh, I got
without eating any carbs.
Because you have to have some carbs.
I have to have some, and because if I don't take insulin, then there's a whole bunch of bad things in my blood just because of what my body produces.
Right.
Most people who have diabetes, and it's like 98% of people with diabetes have type 2.
Yep.
And you either get that by overworking your pancreas, by eating too much, and it doesn't even have to be sugar or something. Like a lot of Italian people end up getting it.
Pasta. That's
too much
all
pasta.
like flour.
You eat a giant plate of pasta with tomato sauce, you're eating 300-400 carbs a meal.
Right.
Like I have to weigh everything out I eat. I have to know how many carbs I'm eating before I give myself a shot.
Right.
And I eat the recommended amount of carbs for a meal as according to a doctor, which is 60 carbs. And I never knew anything about it.
60 carbs.
60 carbs.
That's all you're
supposed to have. Yeah.
Is that right?
And
what is 60 carbs? Like a fistful of like pasta that size?
Yeah, that's about right.
God. Isn't that amazing?
I mean, it's just shocking to find out. Like,
what about fruit?
Fruit?
Because a lot of people, I go, well, I'm going to cut candy out and just eat fruit. And they go, well, that's just sugar too. But that's different though, right?
It's better sugar, but it's still just sugar.
Right.
There's fiber in fruit.
Right.
So that slows down the process in which it's absorbed into your blood. Like if I eat candy, it just is the simplest form of a carbohydrate.
Right.
And it'll just process immediately, go straight into my blood.
Right.
And that's not good for anyone.
Right.
But
you got to exercise, or what do you got to do?
With type 2,
it's
an exercise thing.
And it'll go away, right?
As long as you exercise and watch what you eat, you more or less can live without the complications.
Right. So I should just watch my carbs then.
Yeah, if you watch your carbs.
And then maybe have candy once a week. Because I find if you quit it completely stone cold, you're going to...
Yeah. Well, it's okay to have candy. Again, like a normal human body shouldn't have any problem processing. Like the way your pancreas works is you eat candy. Say you eat a Snickers bar and it has like 40 carbs in it or something. That's usually about what a candy bar has. It's 40 carbs of almost pure sugar. There's a little bit from peanuts or whatever, but it's almost pure sugar carbs. So you'll eat that, and your body will just produce,
No problem.
2 milliliters of insulin straight from your pancreas. Your blood sugar will never go from, like, a normal person's blood sugar will be between 100 and 140,
Right.
99% of the time. So it's like when it's low, every once in a while you'll get shaky or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's the occasional
I get
time
like
it'll
that
drop.
once in a while. Like you don't
Yeah.
eat all day.
Right.
Then all of a sudden you're like, ooh.
And you have a low blood sugar. And for a normal person, it means your blood sugar is probably like 80.
Yeah.
Nothing to worry about, but, you need to eat something to get
How do
energy.
you realize you have it? You just, you're at the store one day or something, right? You pass out?
No, I started losing weight.
Oh, yeah.
And, I weigh the most I've ever weighed now. I weigh like 155 pounds.
Yeah.
And when I found out I had diabetes, I had lost 46 pounds
Wow.
in about 5 weeks.
What were you thinking? All of a sudden your clothes just didn't fit, right? And you're
My
like,
jeans
what?
were off, and I'm just, I guess, I'm losing weight. I started getting so thirsty. I was drinking like a gallon of water every day.
Yeah, I see guys like that. Like
And,
and then they're pissing all night.
Pissing all night. I'd wake up every 30 to 40 minutes, have
Yeah.
to go pee. I'm like, what's going on? I start Googling that shit, and it's just, no matter what, you have cancer and you're dying. That's all. Oh, shit.
Yeah, right?
So I just gotten SAG insurance, and I...
God, what a godsend, right?
Yeah. Oh, when I go to the SAG clinic, and these fucking retards,
Oh, yeah.
the dumbest doctors in the world.
Oh.
I go in, and guy checks my blood sugar, and he's just like, I think you might be diabetic, but I need you to come in tomorrow and do a 12-hour fasting blood sugar so that way we can get a more accurate number.
Yeah.
I was just like, all right. And I was feeling really sick at that point. And I'd lost so much
Are you
weight.
tired or what?
Real tired.
Real
I could
tired.
barely walk. Like, I couldn't walk my dog around the block anymore.
Wow.
And I physically lost so much weight that people were starting to say stuff.
Yeah.
And like,
Rick's got AIDS.
yeah, like that was the joke.
Yeah.
And Jade at the Comedy Store started telling me, like, you need to go to a doctor.
Yeah.
You look really sick. I'm just like, all right. And people kept saying at the point that PDC, when I was just like, everyone leave him alone. He knows something's wrong. Just leave him alone. I was like, thank you.
Why weren't you going to the doctor? You have SAG
Well, I had insurance, but I didn't really understand how it worked.
Oh, yeah.
And I called the SAG clinic, and I got the first available doctor's appointment. It was 2.5 weeks
I think
away.
it's amazing that you're talking about this because I feel the same way too. I've got mad knowledge on rock and roll,
Yeah.
comedy. I've got mad knowledge on motorcycles, movies. I know everything except the body. Like
Yeah.
a year ago, I had this prostatitis, and I thought I had prostate cancer. And I'm the same way as you. I'm like, well, I can't go. I didn't have the money to go in.
Right.
I got no money. Fuck it, it'll go away. And I'm just performing
Hoping.
every night.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, I can't miss spots. People are going to get spots. I got to get the spots. I'm
Yeah.
getting somewhere. And here I am riding around on this motorcycle with this pain that is unbelievable.
I am dying or something.
Yeah. I swear,
Yeah.
it's prostate cancer. And
yeah.
I was the same way.
I thought I had stomach cancer.
Yeah.
And I'd been really sick for a long time. I had my diabetes was unchecked for 6 years.
God.
And in that time, I went to the doctor, and I didn't have insurance, so I was paying out of pocket. I ended up, about 2006, I started getting real sick.
Yeah.
And I ended up paying about $12,000 to get all these tests done on my stomach.
Yeah.
And they diagnosed me with a bunch of bullshit that I didn't end up having.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah.
I had no money. I had $2,600 or
Yep.
$3,000 in the bank, and I go to Kaiser, and they say, "We'll let you in for $150." They do a sonogram on my testicles. I thought I had testicular cancer. Then I thought I had prostate cancer,
Oh.
and then I get a bill for $2,600, and they're like, "Yeah, you got to pay this," and I'm not even cured, and I don't have any money now.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck?
I was just like, well, this is screwed. And I would projectile vomit 6 times a week.
Is that right?
Yeah.
After you ate or something?
I would eat. Sometimes I would just wake up and just throw up. And
So you thought it was stomach related, of course.
So, and this, I had a couple experiences. I was in New York with Bobby Lee and Freddie Lockhart once, and
Yeah.
I went into, just started having all these illness episodes. I mean, I literally thought I was going to die, and I found out later when the same thing happened to me at my 30th birthday. I started going through the same thing. Like I suddenly was just.
So you had it back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was in diabetic shock.
Wow.
And so I went to the SAG clinic finally after 3 weeks or whatever my appointment was. The guy said, you need to come back tomorrow. Don't eat anything. So I was like, all right. And I was really sick. And I went home and hung out. I was like, I have to do 12-hour fasting. So I ate a meal before I started my 12-hour fast or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I ate pasta because I'm like, at least it's healthy.
Yeah, I know. That's
And
what I used to think, right?
I didn't know. Like,
I really thought that, man.
I didn't know it was
eating
carbs.
pasta
The
every
guy
day.
said, I think you're diabetic. I don't know for sure. In my mind, I thought, so I can't have sugar.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a carb thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
I didn't know it was a carb thing till today.
Yeah.
I
didn't know.
absolutely never knew that. I thought it was a sugar thing, but of course carbs break down into sugar.
Right.
Makes sense now, but I'm not even
Just didn't-
thinking
Yeah,
that.
me neither.
You're not thinking that at all.
So I'm just like, all right, whatever. So I ate pasta, just plain pasta.
Yeah.
No sauce, but just eat some noodles.
Yep.
Soft on my stomach.
Comedian's meal.
Yeah.
Top ramen with butter.
Yeah, exactly. and then I got so sick. I spent the next 10 hours laying in my bathtub with my now wife, at the time girlfriend, like through the night, waking up being like, we need to go to the hospital. Me being like, no, I have to go to the SAG clinic tomorrow. And when I go, we'll figure it out then.
Wow.
And about 6 a.m., she came and I had fallen asleep in the bathtub. Just kind of laying there. Not like asleep, but just completely out of it.
Yeah.
Been delirious. She made me go to the SAG clinic. And I was like 3 hours early for the appointment. As soon as they opened, walked in. Other doctor took the sheet out, my chart out from the day before.
Yeah.
And just looked at it, looked at me, pricked my finger, and was like, I'm not going to do a single thing. You have to go to the emergency room.
Wow.
And I was like, what? And he was like, the doctor, what's his name, should have sent you yesterday.
Unbelievable.
And I was like, oh, all right. So then I got to the emergency room, and they were waiting. The doctor had called ahead.
Well, that's actually
That's
cool.
it.
They weren't like sit over there.
Right. Which was shocking, but like that let me know like this is how bad this is.
Yeah.
And then I found out my blood sugar was 530, and if it's over 150, you're diabetic.
Wow.
And I was at 500, which is like almost as bad as humanly possible without dying.
You were five guys in, man.
So they have a thing called the hemoglobin A1C, which is your average blood sugar for 3 months, and your body produces ketones when you have high blood sugar, and they could measure that and find out the average. So they bring in the chart for me, and the chart goes from 5 to 13.5, and normal person has a A1C under 7.
Yeah.
Diabetics usually go between 8 and 7. So he brings it in. I'm like, all right. So he's like, 13.5 is as high as it go. Yours is a 15. I'm like,
Whoa!
Jesus. He's like, I've only ever seen one person in my life who had a higher blood sugar than you. And I literally, I couldn't move my legs at that point.
Yeah.
All my muscles were just completely out. And that's when they found out.
Your legs? What happens to your legs?
All of when you don't produce insulin, your body can't turn carbs into energy.
So you're weak.
So I'm weak.
Oh.
Because not a single muscle in my body had no energy.
So you couldn't move your legs.
I couldn't move. And
Wow.
then that's why I couldn't walk my dog and everything was heavy.
Right.
And so it was really brutal. And it took, I was in the hospital for 5 days then. Just them trying to get me back to, having energy. And the reason why I lost all the weight was since my body didn't have energy, your body will just start shutting down.
Yeah.
And it
like
starts,
you're dead.
Yeah, and it starts eating the fat cells in your body
That's crazy,
to
right?
try and stay alive. Like that's how the cells get energy. And then once there weren't any fat cells left, that's when my body just started shutting down, and I was like, ooh.
So what do you eat now?
So now I'm at a point now that I can pretty much eat what I want.
Really? I just see you drink a soda. You can drink soda?
Well, I only drink diet soda.
Right.
But
But
it has
isn't
to have
that
no
bad
carbs.
for you? I mean, it's really
diet-
bad for you.
Diet soda is bad for you, I guess,
of course,
in general.
yes.
But,
It's got that. Because I read that they're proven that diet soda, the fake sugar in it, which is saccharin or
Right.
what's the other one?
Splenda,
all those, has proven that it tricks your brain that is sugar. So you're really not going to be not losing weight, but you can gain weight from diet soda. They figured out now.
You can definitely gain weight from it.
Yeah.
There's no carbs in it. So
I used to drink about 20 a day.
Diet sodas?
Cokes.
Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do it. I used to drink Mountain Dew.
Yeah, I remember.
And
now you can't do any booze, right?
Yeah, no booze and
weed.
no
Can
soda.
you do weed?
Yeah, I can still do weed. And actually, they have all sorts of funny studies now that they've proven that THC helps regulate blood sugar.
Wow, really?
So it's like it's something that it's one of the few things that they're like, yeah, it's actually one of the actual medical.
Wow, there you go. You got a medical. You got a real medical
I could
card.
actually get a medical card for real purposes.
What I need to do then is cut down my carbs.
Cut down on the carbs.
Yeah. What are we talking about? Pastas, brown rice. Is that a lot of carbs?
It's brown rice isn't as bad. White rice is bad just because it's like a bleached. Any sort of bleached carb is bad. White bread.
Yeah.
Processes too fast.
I never do white bread.
Anything you can do to slow down the process or the speed at which the carbs get processed.
So what do you think? Like I can't even eat like carrots and green beans though. Like, see, I only like a few vegetables. I hate broccoli and lettuce and tomatoes and all that. But I love green beans. I like carrots, corn. It's all sugar based.
Most vegetables are actually pretty easy. Like I could almost eat any vegetable I want without any problem.
I switched to almonds at Trader Joe's, unsalted.
Okay.
Fuck, as like my candy snack now.
Right.
Good.
Yeah, that's
and then
good.
a banana, it seems to cure me right away.
Yep.
Like if I'm looking for a bag of candy, I get a banana and I'm good, or a green apple.
Yep. Yeah, all that has good fiber content. So, yeah, all that's good. It's all just
exercise too.
Yeah, and you don't even have to exercise that much.
No, just
if you walk around the block,
right?
And it's it's just not eating excessively ever.
Yeah,
that's really the key. It's like an American diet is absurd.
Yeah, it is.
Like I never thought about it until it happened. But like you go out and you order a burger at a restaurant. Like you go to Applebee's.
Yeah,
you get a burger. The bun has. Like a restaurant burger bun has probably 90 carbs in it by itself.
Is that right?
Yeah.
The French fries, no bun?
I'll do no bun.
Because, I was on Atkins diet. I was on Atkins diet for like a year. Mm-hmm. And, man, I looked great and I felt great. But when you fall off hard, man. When you get one taste of carbs like spaghetti,
you're like,
all of a sudden you're like in gnocchi every night. You know?
Yeah. I mean, all of it's fine as long as you just don't.
How about Chipotle? Just burrito bowl, like brown rice, black beans, chicken.
I eat Chipotle more than any other restaurant.
And what do you get there? Do you get brown rice?
Yep, I do. You can actually even get a burrito if you just do. I usually go with a bowl, but
because that tortilla is white.
Yeah, right? You got to do if you do half. Just ask for half on beans and rice.
Oh,
it's a reasonable portion.
Okay, there you go.
Half rice is the key.
Half rice.
A normal Chipotle burrito has like
it's all rice because
it fills you up.
That's how they fuck you up. Yeah.
And you'll eat 100 carbs of rice.
Brown rice is that much?
Brown rice is better for you.
Okay, but is it a lot of carbs?
No, it's some, but I mean, if you get a half a spoonful, it's not going to be more than. 15, 10 carbs,
there you go.
Something like that.
And then a lot of black beans are good for you. So you get a lot of black beans.
Beans
and
are good.
Chicken.
Yep, chicken's good. You can eat as much meat as you want.
Oh, yeah, right.
No carbs, much eggs as you want, really.
Wow.
Anything with a lot of protein is good for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, just got to be healthier. It's, I was a eat frozen pizzas every meal guy.
Fucking Ray. Yeah. So you were basically, you were white trash, but you were smart. Your meal was white trash, but you were the other whites you were talking about.
Yeah. I was living in Kansas or living in California and eating in Kansas.
Yeah. Well, man. Thanks for the tip on that. You know, it's great to know. And I'm glad you came by. And can we find you anywhere? You got a Twitter or anything?
Yeah, I'm at Rick Ingram, spelled Rick Ingraham, Ingraham.
Yeah, one of my favorite comedians. Come see him at the Comedy Store. He's fucking absolutely destroys.
Thanks, man.
And great guy. And I'm glad you're alive.
Thanks, me too. Same with you. I'm glad we don't have cancer.
Yeah, I know, right?
Celebration.
God damn, dude. I mean, I was shit.
We lost half of our organs to cancer, according to just what we were fearing. So
I know, right? Real quick, who's your favorite band?
Favorite band, probably old Pearl Jam or Led Zeppelin.
God, Pearl Jam's great. I'm back
So good.
hooked on it.
Yeah.
I can't get off it. All of a sudden, I'm just, last 3-5 months, I've been just Seattle all over and realizing these guys fucking wrote classic tunes. Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden.
I was rocking out to Temple of the Dog on my way over today.
I just bought it on vinyl over there.
Really? I mean, literally, that's what I was listening to in my car.
What else I got? Mad Seasons, my all-time favorite.
Fuck
now.
yeah!
I can't get enough of that.
McCready and fucking
and Lanigan and Lane.
Yep.
Fuck yeah! You know that. Wake up! It's good shit.
Yeah, that's my whole scene is 90s grunge rock. The whole Seattle scene is basically what I grew up on.
It's actually great, man.
It's
some of the best music. I think it's past 80s rock for me. Like, people think, 80s rock. I'm not talking about like hair bands. I'm talking about GNR, Aerosmith, AC/DC, all that
cream
stuff.
of the crop.
Yeah, I'm talking about this other stuff. Really, I think also because it feels like our bands. Like, that was our stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
Totally. Yeah, I was the 4th and 5th grader because that's how old I was that I was rocking it. No, I was the little kid though, because again, Seattle scene's blowing up. I'm 11.
Yeah.
I was born in 81. So
there you go. 81. I was like a freshman or something.
I was like the angry 5th grader, wearing my cargo shorts to school, and everyone else is listening to Rex and Effects and shit. I'm going in there with my Nirvana. Nevermind T-shirt on, just being angry for no reason. I have everything. I'm so mad about this.
Angry.
Not understanding
Kansas.
The suburbs of Kansas. And
I'm Jeremy.
I live life. That is what I thought.
I'm Jeremy. There he is, Rick Ingram. Thanks, guys. Say
Thanks,
hi
everyone.
to him and go see him at the Comedy Store. You guys rock. See you later.